What up, party people in the house? It's Dynasty War Games, and we are back for part two. You thought you were rid of us, and you were wrong. So we are back for part two of round two, and we are just going to recap a little bit. But before I do that, let's introduce our co-hosts. My main man, Chad Mendoza. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic, man. Having a lot of fun with this draft. The Lions just traded up 10 spots, so excited to see who they're going to pick here at pick 45.
All right, hold that. We're going to go through a few picks in a minute here. Other co-host filling in for Mike Casper. Apparently, it was supposed to be in addition to Mike Casper, but Mike's having some tornado problems in Texas right now. Brian Ford, how are you tonight, Brian?
Not too bad. Glad to move up from the side bitch / fluffer podcast to the main squeeze. I will do my best impression of a Mormon in the military, but as you know, for me, that will be very hard.
Mike Kinney says we were having so much fun we broke the stream. So, Brian, I understand your Twitter handle is @_. Is that correct?
No.
@FFJunkie_.
Yes, correct.
All right, right on. All right, Chatter, were you intimidated by my mask?
Not at all. Not at all. Thought you looked pathetic almost.
Oh,
So, terrible color green is.
You're dripping with jealousy, Chad. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what we missed. So the last pick we went over was Derek Hall. Damn, why does this not show? Oh, yeah. Derek Hall to the Seahawks. I'm sorry. Then we had Tom Bergeron.
We talked about Mingo. I think as I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just as Memphis was leaving, the Cardinals were taking the edge guy Ojulari. So we, as far as fantasy goes, it's just the one Packers pick, I think.
All right, so Packers took Luke Musgrave. As Memphis was saying, kind of the end of a huge tier of tight ends. They didn't all go in the first round, but they all went late, either late first or high second. So I think they're all going to be grouped together. Just as, I didn't really believe that was going to happen, but I guess, everybody's been calling for it, and it happened.
Bunched together really closely in the NFL and probably in your Superflex tight end premium drafts.
It's obviously a really good landing spot. Am I right or wrong, Chad?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people really like Musgrave. I'm a big fan of Musgrave. But I'm a really big fan of all four of these guys that have gone so far. So really I'm just open to taking the last guy available wherever that may be.
Right on.
So yeah.
Or three of them. Why not? Take three and hope one of them hits.
Yeah. Yep. That's
I have rebuild teams that have 3 or 4 second-round picks. So if I definitely want to, if I want to nail down tight end, and this is what I did last year, but I didn't have to do it in the second round. The guys weren't hyped. So I was taking Dulcich and Chig and Kolar and Otten and Likely and just hope a couple of them hit. And McBride, I was actually taking bigger shots on. But, I see doing that again this year, hoping 1 or 2 or 3 of them hit. And it's so valuable when a tight end becomes a tight end 1 in Dynasty. It's so valuable that I think it's worth, second round picks are kind of dart throws anyway, right?
I mean, I think dart throwy, I think, starts maybe in the late second, I think. But yeah, I mean, the hit rate, of course, is.
I mean, Trey Sermon was a high second round pick consensus.
Very true.
Yeah, I still think there's some really good tight ends left that are going to be, have some fantasy relevance. You have your Tucker Crafts,
Will Mallory.
I like Schoonmaker, actually.
Yeah, Schoonmaker's really good. That the Alabama guy is nice.
What about
Kuntz from Old Dominion?
The freak, Kuntz.
Yeah, Kuntz.
The athletic freak.
I think if Kuntz didn't go to Old Dominion, people would be more excited about him. Yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, so there definitely are some more tight ends, some sleeper tight ends. A hell of a class, hell of a class. Do we remember tight ends going this high ever before?
No, but this is supposed to be the best tight end class in over a decade. So
Right
this is
on.
not something we see every day. It's real, and just the class as a whole is just extremely deep. There's going to be guys, really into day 3 that potentially could be NFL starters down the road. So
it was fun watching him at the combine, and that's when I picked up Will Mallory and started watching him on tape. He just out of a group of alphas, like big time prospects. Will Mallory to me looked really smooth and fluid and stood out. So I'm going to stop pounding his name, but again, he was one of my sleepers. So Detroit just made a hell of a pick.
I didn't see. I was looking at a spreadsheet.
Brian Branch.
They have him listed as a corner. I guess he played nickel corner quite a bit, but he's also a safety.
Yeah, safety. Yeah, that's where I think he's going to end up playing.
Yeah, those positions are kind of interchangeable in the NFL now.
Especially you have a lot of these move guys who just really occupy linebacker spaces, safety spots, nickels in certain packages. I mean, guys like him are going to be very versatile, especially, playing in Alabama. These guys come into the NFL really knowing how to play their role. So,
if you're playing IDP, this is only the second player for me that I'm really highly valuing. So defensive ends have a pretty high miss rate, even high in the draft. So I don't really like drafting defensive ends in rookie drafts for IDP. The linebacker that the Lions took in the first round, Jack Anderson Armstrong, Campbell.
Yeah. Why does Brian Branch look like he's at the DMV queue or something? He looks so upset. I don't know if he's pissed he got left into the second or what. But he looks mad.
All right.
Not mad, but just sad. He looks like somebody kicked his puppy or something.
But Brian Branch is the other guy that I like now. Just position, linebackers and safeties eat up tackles. That position that Chad was just describing, that hybrid nickel in the box, stop the run and cover type player, gets a lot of run in the NFL now and can put up a lot of points in your IDP.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, and Brian Branch is a high level prospect. He's actually a first round, like late first round grade by I think a lot of people. He just didn't run fast at the combine.
It's just the whole athletic profile is a little bit worrying. But with a guy like him, you could be a little less athletic if they use you correctly.
Yeah, and he's got really good recognition.
Yeah.
All right, so up next, New England. Oh no. Yeah, New England on the clock. Yeah, pick is in. So did they finally take a weapon? Is there anybody left for them to take? Marvin Mims? Josh Downs?
There's a million guys to take. A lot of people said they were in on Flowers. But I think if you take Downs, now you have Juju, Gesicki, Henry, and Downs, all different players, but all intermediate targets, right? So I don't know. Maybe this is where we finally get one of our running backs, because Bill Belichick hates fantasy, right? I don't know, but they also have other needs,
That's a really good call. I expect them to take a big ugly, because they didn't take one in the first round, and they're like big trench kind of players and early on. So that's what I expect. But yeah, that's a really good call that they could take a running back and say, fuck you, Ramondre Stevenson owners. And who's the other guy there? James Robinson? That's who they signed, right?
Yeah, Pierre Strong's there.
And Kevin Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, those are replacement level backs. James Robinson, if he comes back to his original form, is I guess a bit of a concern for Ramondre. But at this point, if they don't take a back, Ramondre Stevenson is extremely undervalued as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know about extremely.
It's the role. he's an excellent back. He really is. He's really good for his size. I think he's just shown more than I expected him to, a lot more. But yeah, it's the role,
I think, you said something a while back on Dynasty Fever that, like, doesn't Ramondre kind of feel like a short shelf life to you? And
yeah, okay. So I'm talking about
I think you're kind of right. Like, he's already 25 plus, I think. And I think, his value probably ain't going to be greater than it was when I just moved him for, 24 first in a couple leagues, right? So I'm okay with it. Yeah.
I think he's got RB1 potential. He's going to put up an RB1 season this year, maybe next.
So they took an edge. They took Keon White.
Yeah,
from
Keon
Georgia
White.
Tech.
All right, so lineman. 6'4", 285. Yeah, like I said, they took a big ugly. So I'd like to just take a minute and thank Mike Kinney to migrating streams with us. Sorry, Mike. Didn't know we were going to end streams, but we have Memphis on and things happen. But it'll help us break it up for podcast form.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We could maybe think about it in hour chunks, just regardless, right?
Yeah. I'd rather not.
Not resetting stream, just like resetting.
Oh yeah,
verbally, kind of thinking about. Yeah. Sure. Behind the scenes on live TV, folks. That's right. We're planning the podcast, building the plane as we fly, right? So let's talk a little bit more about Musgrave to the Packers, if we can. Like, a lot of people put Mayer to them in the first round. Obviously, that didn't happen. We see a vacancy at tight end. Musgrave can be a Jordan Love's best friend kind of guy, right? Draw in some defense, right? While Watson's kind of taking off the top a little more. I think it's a good pick. Musgrave is kind of like a discount Kincaid with about 1 inch and 10 more pounds or 15 more pounds on him. I know you don't like him or didn't like him early on, Jesse.
I mean, I've come around as a receiver.
Yeah.
I now we got the draft capital. I'm not arguing with
yeah,
that.
I think the way that the NFL is using tight ends now, I think it's really good. And I think out of the 5 tight ends, he still might be the most affordable one in drafts. So I think Chad was really onto something there with that idea of, hey, look, we got 5 high draft capital tight ends, right? With Washington maybe even still to come. I think Kincaid separates a little bit as a late first, particularly in 0.75 or above.
And have a Josh Allen throw to him.
Right. But
and their need for another weapon.
But that method of like, I'll wait to the 3rd or 4th to take tight ends. I don't know. Who's going to be the 3rd or 4th tight ends now? You might have to spend that mid-second on a tight end, that late second on a tight end if you want one. Because clearly, I just shouldn't say clearly, but as of now, right, we don't have any running backs off the board in the early second. So early second NFL, right? So where are those running backs going to end up in our rookie draft? Still TBD, right? So I don't know. It might be a little different from normal years because of the high investment in real life in the tight end class.
Chad, what's the highest you would take Musgrave?
I'm not. I mean, I like Musgrave. I'm not as high on him as some other people are.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I mean, I think in a tight end premium, which is really all I'm playing these days, I mean, maybe 206. It's hard to say right now because everything else is projection, right? Like we know where he is. Mm-hmm. We don't know where a lot of these guys are going. So it's going to be easy to talk about that once we know. But I mean, yeah, seeing him as a 205, 206, 207 kind of guy, I mean, I would be comfortable with that.
Okay, right on. So in the hierarchy of these tight ends, where do you have him? Is he last of the guys that have been drafted so far?
For me, he's last.
Okay.
I like Sam Laporta quite a bit, and then I think Dalton Kincaid is just on another level from all these guys as for fantasy relevant options for me.
Yeah.
I think he's the best wide receiver or best receiver in the class, I should say. I'm even surprised he went as late as he did. I think he's just as a pure receiving option. I think he's the best in the class.
He fits what Buffalo needed perfectly, right? They have deep threats in Diggs and Gabe Davis. The middle of the field has just been so rough for them. Once teams start playing too high safeties, if Josh Allen isn't running, if they shut that down, they had nothing else last year, and it really showed. So having this mid-level dynamic receiver really helps them.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so Tampa Bay takes a tackle, Cody Mock. He's got about 3 teeth. He's got what we
Yeah,
That's the no teeth guy. I was
the
thinking
combine,
of
he
Tippmann.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
we used to call that summer teeth, right? Some are here, some are there.
That's a terrible joke.
Take that.
Oh man.
So I mean, definitely a great pick for Tampa. Really helps Rashad White, I guess, if you believe in that guy. So doesn't it feel like they are a bunch of they're Godwin and a bunch of B levels at this point?
I mean, I throw Godwin in there for me. It's just the guys you don't really necessarily want at their price.
Yeah, right. Aren't they just a bunch of B levels all around?
Yeah, it's just actually I take that back. I do want Baker at his price. If the Bucks don't take a quarterback this round, I mean, they might come in through for Hendon Hooker or something, but if they don't, then I mean, yeah, if I can get Baker super cheap, and I have been able to get him dirt cheap, and I really don't like Baker, but yeah, I mean, having another starting quarterback on your roster is never a bad thing if you can get him for peanuts. But other than that, yeah, I don't want any of these guys that have decent value where you're having to give up something to get them.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about White. I was trying to move him. I think Godwin and Evans' name value is going to make their price still, I think, higher than you'd like to pay given various factors, including the offensive situation. So, I mean, at some point, everybody becomes a value, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, I've got Godwin down, I think, at like wide receiver 31 or some shit now. Like, if I'm paying that wide receiver 31 price in a startup, sure, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. Godwin's a little scary. So Pittsburgh's on the clock again,
and then Tampa's on the clock again right after him.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Tampa could shore up their wide receiver core. They could take a running back. Rashad White's kind of viewed by most people as a 1B at best.
Did Tampa trade in, or did Green Bay trade up? Because it's showing on mine, it's showing Green Bay as the next pick after Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, Tampa must have traded. Yeah, what are you saying there?
I'm on the NFL website. The pick 48 that they just took with Cody Mock, that was Detroit's original pick to Green Bay to Tampa Bay. Now Pittsburgh's pick is in, and now Tampa Bay with their original number 50 is on the clock, according to NFL.com.
Huh. Yeah, the live draft coverage are showing Green Bay there. Interesting. I guess we'll find out who's picking in a second. But yeah, I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do here. I really hope they keep addressing that offensive line for me. I think that's something they have to do, and there's some really good guys still on the board here.
I guess maybe that was the trade. They moved up 2 spots to take the tackle.
Yeah, probably so.
And the website just hasn't updated yet.
Let's see. Let me bring up the Steelers picks here.
They got what?
Yeah, so they got Broderick Jones. In the first. So yeah, I mean,
and then Joey
Torrance
Porter at the top of the second, right? So
yep,
yeah.
Torrance is still on the board. There's a few centers still on the board.
John Michael Schmitz
one here. Yep.
Cyrus Torrance is still on the board. That's
still on the
great.
board. Yeah, it's pretty insane.
So I guess the Eagles pick, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 10 picks away. But if both of those guys are there.
Now the website is updated with Green Bay on the clock. Okay. So Pittsburgh took the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz guy?
Did they?
Is that what you just said? Oh, I thought you were.
No, we're just talking about guys they could take.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping some of these center prospects fall to the Eagles. We have our center of the future in Cam Johnson, the guy we took last year, but he's probably going to play right guard at this point. So I'd like to take another back.
Your center of the future is Jason Kelsey because
trying to see where
he's never going to retire.
Yeah, music to my ears, my friend. Music to my ears.
They took Keanu Benton. I'm going to be really, really interested to see where some of these wide receivers start going because we haven't really seen many. We've just seen the one this round so far. We have Chicago coming up, who's a potential spot. We have Jacksonville, I think, is still a potential spot.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, definitely a spot. Buffalo, I still think they could get another pass catcher in there.
Hell, Green Bay on the clock now, right?
Yeah, Green Bay
are putting JSN to them in the first, so
for sure.
Pick is in immediately. So
somebody they love.
Watson, Dubs, Musgrave. A lot of young weapons already. I highly doubt that they take any kind of offensive weapon here. It's either they really need offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, Romeo Dobbs is, like a 4th, 5th round pick? Like, he shouldn't be stopping you. He shouldn't be stopping you from picking a pass catcher in the second round.
I agree with that, but Gutekunst does not rationally draft.
Yeah.
Also, it's like he shouldn't stop you, but is he good enough to fall back on so that you take a need like an offensive lineman now? There's that.
I still think it's a need, though. I mean, you got a young quarterback there in Jordan Love. You've got to give him the best shot at success.
I mean, Aaron Jones is a nice weapon as well.
True.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're without weapons. They're just young and inexperienced. Reed, is that a reach or what?
Wow.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people did mock him in the second round. A lot of people had him higher than consensus.
Yeah. I liked him in the 3rd round NFL. Second's a little rich for me, but there's a hive out there. There are people who had him ranked like 7, 8 in their wide receivers for fantasy pre-draft.
Yeah, there is. Sure.
And also, we have to think about, like you always say, team and scheme, right? So you've got a guy like Watson on the outside who's a field stretcher. Reed is versatile enough. He played up in the slot and on the outside in college. He's kind of a tweener in size. He's not that big outside boundary guy. So he presents, I think, a different kind of weapon than Watson or Dubs or Musgrave. So it fits the team, I guess, right? Like,
yeah. Do you know anything about Jaden Reed, Chad?
Yeah, he's just a ball player. He's not a super athletic guy. Just got really good ball skills, and he's a good football player.
I came away a little underwhelmed. I felt when I watched him, I kept saying to myself, "This is the Tank Bigsby of wide receivers." This is a guy that does a lot of things well, but nothing great. He does have some dog. He definitely, for his size, is a good contested catch. But what is he, 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, 5'10".
That's
almost 5'11", and he weighed in at 187 and 191 at the Combine and Senior Bowl.
Okay. That does speak well for him if he can fight for contested catches, if he's not going to be, an instant open or a separation machine. I don't think that's his game at all. Oh, and there goes Cam Smith to the Dolphins. It's pretty far slide for Cam Smith, who at one point quarterback for Gamecocks. I think at one point was expected as a first rounder. Really, really deep corner class.
Yeah. I think there was something about him that people were saying he was going to fall. I don't know if it was, I I hate saying it if I don't know. So
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
probably
there
say
was.
it's not.
We'll just say maybe there was off the field stuff, or maybe.
Yeah, I think there was something I forgot what it was, but I was listening to a podcast yesterday and they said there was something about Cam Smith that NFL teams were a little scared about.
So I'm gonna tell you something that speaks to the depth of this draft is how fast these picks are coming off the board in the second round. Pick is in, pick is in, pick is in, pick is in.
Yeah, yep.
So it's a deep and flat class.
Well, I think so. I don't really think it's as flat. I think it's just people don't have the same board. Like everybody's so
Yeah,
different
you're right. Not at all.
that people just like their guys, and everybody's just having their guy just available because it's so different from the next team.
Which was the point that I was trying to make to Brian earlier, that it's not that these guys are really falling because there's something wrong with them. It's just they were maybe the number 2 guy for a lot of teams on their board, and they couldn't believe that the perfect fit was there. Seahawks again, man. These guys have a lot of picks.
Fun fact: Jaden Reed just got a birthday present and just turned 23 today.
23 today.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, Jaden Reed, you old bastard.
That is a good birthday present for sure.
I mean, there's a couple concerns with them, like the age and
whoa,
who is it?
Zach Charbonnet.
Oh no!
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Zach Charbonnet to the Seahawks.
Oh,
wow.
Gentlemen.
Oh.
I mean, this is as big a stunner as Gibbs to the Lions. I mean, worse.
I think bigger, yeah.
I think this is worse. This
nobody's going
anywhere. A ton worse because they're done with Swift. Like you just know it. They're done with Swift. They don't want anything to do with him. But yeah, I mean they got 2 young backs they like now. So this is now officially a committee.
Is this worse for Ken Walker or Zach Charbonnet?
Both.
I mean,
both.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I mean, yeah. Obviously, the answer right now is both, but also we'll see. I mean, Charbonnet probably. I know Kenneth Walker's shortcomings as a receiver are overrated, but I think Charbonnet probably brings more as a pass catcher. I think what you're gonna see is, like Chad said, you're just gonna see a sort of a 2-headed 1A 1B 2-headed monster kind of thing, and yeah.
I agree. I agree with almost everything you said, except for it being worse for Charbonnet. If I had to pick now, it's much, much worse for Kenneth Walker because his value is so high. So if you have him,
sure,
yeah. It's just a bigger fall from grace. He's what, RB4, RB5? Like, I mean, it's hard to justify that with them taking a running back in the second round. If this was maybe the 4th round or something, you're like, all right, it's a guy they want in there to take some reps away, so to keep him healthy. But I mean, the second round, this is saying we want a guy to come in here and do something.
This is a stunner. This ruins my night. The Eagles better do something good.
It's a tough one. That's a tough one. So since everybody now is saying that Kenneth Walker's value is tanked, and that's what everybody's like the next 900 tweets are going to be.
Yeah.
It's time to buy Kenneth Walker.
That's what owners are not going to sell him for what you want to buy him. Just
I know.
After the running back. Well, right. I have Kenneth Walker in 2 leagues, right? And I am so heavily invested in him in those 2 leagues that there's no chance I'm selling him for any. Like
you can't buy him now. What you have to do is you have to wait until Charbonnet has a really work heavy game, or they start seeing like 50-50 splits and owners start getting spooked.
Yeah,
that's when you got to buy him.
Right.
Because now you're at the point where now you're at the point where people are saying, okay, they're in denial. They've spent so much capital on Walker that they're like, man, I just got to see this out and see what happens. But as soon as Charbonnet starts getting some work, that's when the real fears are going to hit.
I think the fears could hit as soon as like camp, right? You get camp buzz about Charbonnet, right? Like right now, I think Jesse's right. I was kind of having a laugh here. Jesse's right in the sense that like, there's still this like mental like they just got hit with it, right? But they're not going to be like, oh, let's just like now sell him at a discount, right? There's that holding on to hope. There's that, he's still a top 5 dynasty RB. There's like, who knows what's going to happen with Charb. They're not going to give him up for the discount that you would like, right? But you let that wear off, get through the dead zone. Maybe you hear some good rumors about Charb at camp, or that, Pete Carroll said, comes out chewing gum saying, we're going to ride the hot hand. We really like Zach. You're going to be a big part of the offense, and then maybe you swoop in then. Yeah.
It's just so painful. So, I mean, at this point, Charbonnet is what, late second?
It really does hurt, right? I mean,
I think it might be even a mid-second, but
it drops him at least.
That's probably at best mid-second. Yeah.
So all these tight ends push up, and now the running backs are going to push down.
We've got to see. We've got to see. I think all it takes is a running back that everybody likes to go in the 3rd round for him to see borderline first-round capital.
Sure, if Tank goes to the right place, etc. But if what I'm saying is, this is only the first uncomfortable fit that we've seen. There are going to be more.
Yeah. Do we think a running back could go here?
And it's Chicago. It's not even the first. It's just absolutely. Chicago is absolutely in play for a running back. And now that one went off the board, it makes people's brains start working. Do I need to get my guy now? So we're moving towards mid to late first, really. So yeah, I mean, Chicago, Chargers, Kansas City.
I think
all in play.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think the Bears are content enough with what they have at running back, absent maybe like a pass catching back.
Yeah, you think that?
Yeah.
What do they think?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have predicted Seattle picking. I mean, not Seattle. Seattle picking a running back. So,
but okay. So, what are the chances that it happens 2 picks in a row? Like, I don't know. Like,
it could happen.
I mean, Chicago doesn't have a premier running back though, like Seattle does.
Devin Hester is looking sharp on stage, by the way, collared down to his belly button. Gervon Dexter Sr. apparently. So instead of Jalen Carter, they take defensive tackle Gervon Dexter Sr. from Florida.
Nice. I don't know much about him.
I don't know a damn thing about him.
That's what I meant by much. I don't know a damn thing about him.
His scores is 69, according to NFL Network.
Nice.
So now the Chargers are on the clock and taking a little time. This is the first time in a little bit that the pick hasn't just been in.
Yeah, I think 3 out of the next 4 spots could be running backs. I'm not saying that they all have a really high chance, but
yeah, absolutely. Chargers, Kansas City, Jacksonville could take a guy.
Yeah, the Giants can take a guy.
The Giants could.
I know that for a fact.
Take a guy.
This could be A-chain territory for a couple of those teams.
Dallas wants a guy. Buffalo could take a guy just to piss us off. Cincinnati wants a guy. Chicago's up again. Philly wants a guy. I mean, the only team left in the second round that doesn't want a running back is Detroit. If they take a running back, I'm quitting. Y'all can do this.
I'm done with Dynasty, yeah. 100%.
I'm just going to be a casual redraft jerk. Chargers pick is in. This could absolutely be Eckler's replacement. Who would that be? Who's the most Eckler guy, Brian?
Oh, Sean Tucker. Tajay Spears
on the board.
I mean, I love Tajay Spears, but we just were hearing more and more about that knee today. So let me pull up my.
I mean, that wasn't just today. I was trying to tell you a couple days ago. I mean, a couple months ago. But
I knew he might have had 2 tears, but when it's 2 tears in the same knee and you hear that much about the cartilage and meniscus, then it starts to become very alarming.
Oh yeah, he's J.A.J.A.
Shoot. Well, I don't know. Does Kellen Moore is the new OC? He may say we don't need an Eckler clone, right?
Okay. Who is he like?
I don't know. Tank.
Pollard? Who's the most Pollard?
Kendre Miller going here. Watch.
Tuli Tuilapopu. Tui Pelotu. Got it the second time. So I should have gotten that the first time. Tui Pelotu. His brother, I believe, plays for the Eagles. He's a backup tackle. All right, so an edge pick, another boring snore. These are guys that are irrelevant in IDP, by the way. They're guys that you pick up off of waivers in two years when they are possibly relevant.
Look at Jesse with the IDP takes tonight. Are you dabbling more than I know?
I really am. I did. Yeah. So I'm in 3 IDP leagues at this point, and I'm in an IDP startup. So not only have I been playing it for a couple years, I did a ton of research on exactly who these guys are.
Okay. Maybe that's going to be your niche now is IDP guy.
I can help. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert. If I go up against a real IDP guy, he's going to throw some linebacker at me that I've never heard of. That's going to have 120 tackles, and I'll be like, okay.
I remember I did a little research for an IDP rookie episode last year when I was on Dynasty 365, and there's a really cool middle linebacker with a really cool name, and I was like proud of myself for knowing who the hell he was. But no,
I'll tell you, my favorite name is in the NFL is Taki Taki. He played for Cleveland, and I don't know who he's going to play, but he's a defensive player. But Taki Taki, best name in the NFL.
There's a guy called Rakia Sin, and to me that sounds like an invitation to have fun.
Rakia Sin, the center back for the Colts, right? Or does he still play for the Colts?
Actually, I think he left the Colts last year. But yeah, corner.
Remember the Colts drafted him.
Yeah, good solid player. Never,
he was supposed to be pretty good.
Never really lived up to his hype, but good solid player.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
he was a good prospect.
Is this the Chiefs? Everybody wants to put every offensive weapon ever on the Chiefs.
Yes, 100%.
A-chain, receiver. What do we?
Oh God, I would love for A-chain to go to them. For him just for them to get a gadget, for them to waste their second round pick on a gadget because they're our number one rival at this point. But also for A-chain to get all kinds of hype and elevation.
Oh, A-chain troopers will be
other guys
insufferable.
Oh, it would be beautiful because it would be such an easy avoid, right?
Oh yeah.
It'd be so easy. Like, no, I'm not taking him at 110. Are you crazy?
It'll be Sky Moore, except as a running back.
It's going to be Deuce Vaughn.
Chicago just traded up, by the way, so they're next after Kansas City.
Oh, are they taking a receiver? Because they jumped in front of the Giants.
Oh, possibly. That's weird, though. That's a weird place for them to.
Well, they got DJ Moore, Claypool, and Mooney, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, they have to really like a guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they really like a guy, but maybe it's for an offensive lineman. I mean,
it could be. It could be for a guard or center.
Yeah, Giants could really use that as well. In fact, if it, selfishly for my Saquon shares, I would really love to see that.
Yes.
As a division rival, I'd love to see you guys take another Wan'Dale Robinson. Thank you for that, by the way.
I think Wan'Dale's a good player. He's just hurt.
Yeah, he's not a second round talent.
I think he is. I think he looked really good last year.
Would you rather have Wan'Dale Robinson or Jalen Hurts in the second round?
Jesse, that's a stupid question. That's such a stupid question.
Here's one for you. Here's a poll on Twitter. Travis Etienne or Jahmyr Gibbs?
Etienne by a lot.
Etienne, and I don't even like him. So
I love him. He's like my. Here's a question for you.
My answer is exactly Chad's answer. Etienne, and I don't even like him.
Here's a question for you: Kenneth Walker or Etienne?
Gibbs is winning the poll.
Oh, that's disgusting. Kenneth Walker or Etienne?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to digest this Charbonnet pick a little bit.
You know what? Just the fact that you're questioning that
Yeah.
I mean, Etienne's easily the dynasty wide running back 5. Easily.
Not for me, but
It's really going to depend on. I mean, there's still a bunch of rounds left in this thing. I mean, we don't know
Yeah.
if Jacksonville's going to go and take a running back.
Brian, who do you have? Who are your top 7? If you have ATN 8, I know you have ATN 8. You told me the other day.
JT, Brees Hall, tier break. CMC, Barkley. Oh, I do have Walker 5th. Eckler 6th, tier break. Jacobs, Etienne, Najee, tier break. That's the top 9.
I have Etienne above all those vets.
Nice.
CMC is Saquon, and then like Eckler. What's he 32?
28, right?
And wants to be traded, and nobody wants to trade for him, so he's going to get cut.
Nobody.
It's a good contract, actually. So
I mean, you and I were just. Was it? What was it? Was it you I was talking to? How we don't like Etienne, and he's not built for the role.
That was not me. I love Etienne. I think he's a superior talent.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I was. Yeah, that's right. We were talking in DMs when you were making a trade. Yeah, I don't like Etienne.
Yeah, I've been trading
as much as everybody else does.
Right, I've been trading Cup for him. I did that twice. I traded Cup and Sky Moore for Etienne.
Come on, guys. Announce the pick.
Rashee Rice.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Boom. So I guess the character concerns did not push him down NFL boards.
Well, I mean, they also traded for Kadarius Toney, so I don't think they care. Yeah.
Well, actually, Andy Reid's pretty famous for being able to work that shit out.
Yeah. Don't think he cares much.
No,
Rashee Rice is a guy, man. I really like him. He's going to be tough to get now, though. He's going to be really tough to get. Chief hype is a real thing.
Yeah. So where do you think his consensus?
He's going to go in the first.
Really?
Oh, no,
he's going to go in the first.
I was about to say 201.
No.
I think he's going to go in the first.
Listen, I probably was above consensus on Rice.
Sky Moore went in the first round. This is Sky Moore with better draft capital.
I think, but the thing is, Sky Moore, as much as he was in the similar range of like wide receiver 9 or 10 in people's ranks last year, it was a better class last year of wide receivers.
I think Rashee Rice is a better prospect than Sky Moore was, and I love Sky Moore.
And 2, people loved Sky Moore from a lot of different perspectives. Rashee Rice, all they do is trash him about how he played in the spread offense. He's old and not as productive as you want, and don't get me wrong, I'm probably above consensus on Rice, but I think people view Sky Moore coming out already better than they viewed Rice coming out.
I think you're right on the dynasty community. I don't think you're right in the NFL community. I think they're about even in the NFL community. Rashee Rice was getting a lot of hype coming into the draft, and I mean, there was people talking about him going early in the second.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm talking about the dynasty community though, because that's kind of really.
But now the dynasty. I mean, now that he's here, he's on the Chiefs. I mean, he's gonna get pushed up far, and especially with guys like Zach Charbonnet falling, guys like Levis falling, and all that kind of stuff. People are looking for people to push up. So
True.
I mean,
he's that's a big jump though. I'm gonna look up Sky Moore ADP as of like March of last year.
Yeah.
But like Rashee Rice is going in like the early to mid third in mocks. Like
I think you're gonna find something similar. I think you're gonna find late second for Sky Moore. And Sky Moore, and let's remember, Sky Moore got worse draft capital.
How much worse?
I think he went in the third.
Did he?
Yep, pretty sure.
Rookie ADP. Because, I mean, Sky Moore was like, I don't know, like my 10th, 12th wide receiver last year. Like pre-draft, maybe, but hold on. All right,
let me make sure I'm not talking out of my ass, but I'm fairly certain he went in the third. No, you're right. He went in the second. He went 222. So, similar draft capital a little bit. I mean, gosh, what is this? Almost the same exact draft capital, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at my guy! Look at my guy wearing the day ball shirt for the Giants pick.
So who is this? Who is this making this pick?
I don't know. Is it Lawrence Tynes?
Seaborn?
Oh, it's Jason Seaborn, cornerback. Yeah, my boy Seaborn. John Michael Schmitz.
It is Seaborn. It looked like him. I did that just by looking at his fucking stupid face that I always did. So excellent pick by the Giants here, John Michael Schmitz.
Yeah,
I've been yelling about him since the Saints 30 or 29th pick. So Chad, you got a good one.
I think. I mean, there was a lot of people mocking him in the first round of the Giants.
Yes. I can tell you that the Journey to the Draft guys, Fran Duffy, Cosell, Brugler, they really like him.
Really?
Yeah, they really, really like him. They thought he's a first-round talent, but centers don't go in the first round, so they thought someone will get a real value in the second, and that just happened.
Yeah, I think the Giants are probably going to trade up for a receiver or see if a guy makes it to them. Because I mean, even yesterday in the presser, Joe Shane came out and said, "We have," I think he said, like, we have 10 picks. We're not making all 10.
Right on.
Was his quote. So.
Wow, Cowboys are making their pick already. So pick is in.
Chad, just to I guess tie that loose end. In March, Sky Moore's Superflex ADP was 207. In April, it was 205. So he's making a vault into the late first from that range.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say late first. He was like 108, 107 in some drafts.
Like, I think he was 109 consensus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, around there.
I mean, so you're asking Rashee Rice to make that similar jump from early to mid third right now.
But Rashee Rice was consensus late second a month ago. And over the last month, he's fallen over character concerns.
Listen. I'm in the weeds. I'm not saying I'm no more than anybody else.
Yeah, I know you are.
I'm on leave from work, right? So I'm in the weeds every day on this stuff, right? I heard very little about the character stuff, and I've averaged a mock a day for a long time, and he's consistently been in the third.
Shoemaker just went.
Shoemaker to Dallas.
I think he's going to go late
an underrated tight end.
I think he can go as high as late first. I'm calling it now. I mean,
Rashee Rice, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be in consensus, but it could happen. I think it's going to be early. Consensus probably early second. I like Rashee Rice to Kansas City.
It's just going to depend. It's just no wide receivers are going.
I feel bad because I'm a Ricer. Like, I loved writing a rookie profile about him. I like the guy, but
yeah, can we stop dogging the guy and talk about?
It's not just about him. It's about the landing spot and it's about everybody else. Like, there's no wide receivers going. Like
so let's pretend that everyone else doesn't exist, right? And we're sitting in the second round at 205. And Rashee Rice is there. Are we just happy as fuck?
Yeah. I mean, that's a slam dunk pick.
Brian, you said nah. Brian?
It's really hard for me to say without seeing how the rest of this plays out.
Okay. But as with the information we have
we're going into the third round here. I mean, we're running out of time for these receivers.
All of the running backs to go. There's just 10 running backs, relevant running backs.
Here's the thing, though, right? Okay, so let's take Rashee Rice's landing spot, right? Everybody loves the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs funnel everything through Kelsey, and then they use a million other weapons that are unpredictable week to week as to what kind of volume they're going to get, right? Which is kind of what happened to Sky Moore, right? And now you're asking Rice to like buck that trend, and you're asking me to draft the fifth wide receiver on my dynasty team rather than, I don't know, if whatever the fuck Kendre Miller goes in a few picks.
Ew.
You know, like, and I don't even like Kendre Miller.
But we're not talking about the legitimacy of the logic.
At least they were Johnson.
We're talking about perception on and if consensus is going to push him up. I mean, I think a lot of picks that consensus makes him stupid.
Okay, I disagree with you that consensus will push him up into the late first a lot, but you also just said you'd slam dunk take him at the 205, and what I'm saying is I still wouldn't, based on what I just said.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. We're talking about two different things.
Yeah. And I'm saying I still wouldn't. I love Rice, but I actually kind of don't like the landing spot for him.
He is something they don't have, though. He's an outside X.
Yep.
I mean,
which means he'll be on the field.
He's X.
He's a better chance to be on the field.
He's almost as X as you're going to get in this class, outside of the 6'4", 6'3" guys.
He can play boundary.
Yeah,
he can.
He's a boundary receiver.
Yeah, I think he's versatile, but I think he can play outside some. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and he is versatile too, which Andy Reid loves. That's
one of the comps I made to him when I wrote the article was college Chris Godwin.
Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
I mean, nowhere near this. I mean, Godwin has nowhere near the size, right? 220? Is Godwin's not 220?
Rice isn't 220, I don't think.
Man, I keep getting him mixed up.
I think you're mixing up Rice with
Mingo. Under 210. Okay, never mind.
204. Wow. He's a little over 6 foot and 204. But again, you're looking at like a 23-year-old, a group of 5, right? A spread offense, right? I like Rashee Rice, but one of the reasons I like him is because he's awesome for a mid-third round pick, right?
I like him. No, I like him better as a player than a mid-third round pick. I think you're just lower on him than some people are. Maybe not in the dynasty community. I honestly don't take in a lot of dynasty content, but right. The NFL's pretty high on him. I think where he went is probably where a lot of people thought he was going to go.
I'm not going to disregard, the fact that Casey took him, and they could have taken Downs, Tillman, Hutchinson, right, which are literally the 3 guys I have right above him, right, in some order. I'm not going to ignore that, right? But you're asking him to make the leap from value wise, where he was in the mid-third as a value, as an older prospect with not as great a production profile, from a spread offense in a group of 5 team, right? You're asking me to spend a late first or an early second on him in a dynasty rookie draft just because he landed on Kansas City that uses a million weapons every week anyway. I just can't do it.
Me personally, I love the player. I think I'm taking him because I think he's a good player, right? That's why I'm taking him. And the draft capital, obviously. Landing spot aside, not crazy about the KC aspect of it. I think that's okay, but I think a lot of people are going to be. As far as where I think he's going to land in consensus, that's more because I just don't think this class is going to stack up very nicely in the 110 to 201 range. I think we're really hurting for people with draft capital here. And so people are going to be looking for excuses to push guys up, and I think he's going to get it.
I don't disagree that people are going to push him up, but you want to spend a 205 on him. I don't.
Because I love the player, yeah.
I love the player too. But
I don't know. But I don't think you do, though. I mean, you're saying I don't think you do because
screw you, Buffalo.
Who'd they pick?
Osiris Torrance.
That's a good pick.
Really nice pick for them.
That's a good pick. You were hoping the Eagles get him?
Yeah, I was. It's only a few picks away. I was just texting with my brother that we should trade up.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I'm saying I like him. So my wide receivers, I have him just behind Tillman for me. And Tillman is right behind the guys that have already gone for me. And I had him right in front of Mingo.
So he's what, 7 or 8 for you?
Let me see. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7.
Okay. He started at 6 for me. He ended up at 9. So we're not too far apart as far as relative to the rest of the class. I just, and I like he's got that my ball dog mentality,
physicality.
I like it, but there's just enough to not like about him to not spend the 205 on him. I don't know. Listen, if a lot of these running backs fall, I mean, lower than we think
they are falling. They are falling.
Well, how many did you really think we're going to go in the second round? I mean,
I thought there was going to be at least 3 in the second round, at least.
I mean, I thought the running backs were going to be clustered all in the 3rd or 4th round for the most part, like except for the 3 that have already gone. So, and maybe A-Chain, but he was like kind of didn't even really matter to me because he's A-Chain.
Yeah.
So I'm still okay. What happened?
Bengals pick in. They take corner.
Nice. Who are you going for the Eagles here?
I announced it in the beginning of the night. I don't know if you were here for it, but Darnell Washington, extra tackle with receiving skills, really really nice backup, and to Goddard, and second tight end for 12 personnel. I mean, just perfect for our scheme.
Can you give me like a few seconds on Schoonmaker here?
Sure.
I think this is a great landing spot for an underrated prospect, and I think people don't like him enough that even the Dallas landing spot isn't going to bump him up to where now he's no longer a value. I still think he's going to be pretty safe. Matt Waldman said that he's could be like pretty much like in the running for, I think, best blocker in the class, right? Not that we care about that much for fantasy, but the NFL likes that stuff. I care about route percentage more, right? But he's on the older side. He's going to be 25 in September, right? But unless it's a big overdraft, which I don't know that this is really, he's probably going to stay off people's radar. And let me pull him up here. 6'5" and 245, 250. So decent size. 85th percentile on the 40, right? He thinks
Waldman, the clock.
Waldman says that he could possibly develop into Freiermuth. So he's a guy to watch that I think isn't going to be like, people still are going to want to take Darnell. Like he still might be available, Schoonmaker, in like the third, late 3rd round, mid 3rd round. The way things are going. I like that. That's the kind of sneaky value I like, and I think I might have a more shares than consensus. Sorry.
Nice.
So birds on the clock. Darnell Washington's still there. I need some Darnell in my life. Jacksonville pick is in. We don't have it yet.
Oh, it's Darnell Washington.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's Darnell Washington.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I hate your guts.
I'm just kidding. They haven't picked it.
Yeah. Chad, I mean, it's been like 2.5 years now. Like, I get you.
Ingram's only on a 1-year tag. It's not like,
It's not, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I'm really hoping it happens.
Not impossible. That's why I said I hate your guts, because, I mean, he'd be a nice compliment to Ingram as a second tight end.
Yep.
And it's not like, you're wasting your 2nd round pick on a second tight end. You're using your second tight end on just this unique gigantor of a blocker that has receiving skills. I mean, it's such a unique player. I'm surprised he's not off the board already. I'm really surprised, actually. And in fact, Brian, didn't you say good luck getting him in the 2nd?
I didn't think he'd last to 60, 61, 62, whatever. Yeah. I mean, he was getting mocked into like the late 1st a few times, right? Like
he was. Yeah.
Like
early on. I mean, I think he's hold the door, right?
Oh, you don't know how much I love Darnell.
I mean, I think you're the first one to say that, right? That he's Hodor. He's half giant.
Oh yeah.
What was the line? I think you gave it.
It's Game of Thrones that I don't know, criminal-ish woman that wound up living with the Starks to be a servant to like make up for the crime she did. And Hodor like is accidentally traipsing around the house naked because he's Hodor, right? And she sees this big old cock and she's like, you got some giant in you, yeah. That's kind of how, that's what I think of with Darnell Washington. Not that I'm talking about his cock much, but
I mean, you can. It's all right here. It's an open.
Why isn't that measured at the combine, right? Like we get to hear about the 10-inch hands.
Who's got the BDE? I mean,
it probably has something to do with the lawsuits.
Nick Foles would have been a top 5 pick.
I need to know when I'm talking about dog vibes. I need to know big dick energy too.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give it to me.
You don't have to have a big dick to have big dick energy, by the way.
This is true. This is true. This is true. And although my medium dick energy is quite the match for what's under the hood.
Nice. Honestly, Brian, I think you have a medium dick with little dick energy. Oh, I'm kidding. I just couldn't pass it up.
Nah, I got you.
I couldn't pass it up. No, it's, you're a little understated sometimes.
I can be. Very much so, yeah.
But that can be big dick energy in itself, right? You don't need to talk if you got
I'm so confident I'm humble.
Yeah. Who was it? Truman? Speak softly and carry a big dick?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Roosevelt,
about 40 years earlier. But interestingly, Truman took over for FDR, who's another Roosevelt, who was Teddy's like third cousin or whatever.
The Roosevelts and the Trumans just confuse me.
Brenton Strange. Ooh.
Oh.
They did go tight end. That's a riser.
Talk to us about Strange.
That's a riser. That's an overdraft. Wow. Yep. That's a bit of a reach as far as I'm concerned. Like
that's not an NFL reach. They've been, and remember, Jesse, I've been telling you about this guy going.
Yeah, you have. You took him in the 5th round of a 14 team.
The NFL loves this guy. They think he's going to be incredible in the NFL. The production's not there, but he just wasn't used.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I mean, he's got athleticism, right? And I just didn't think he would, I didn't think he would go this high. Wow.
Yeah, I mean they've been talking about him for months now, going in the second round, or not months, but the last month going in the second round.
All right,
and he was one of the dark horses to be in the top 3-4 tight ends.
You heard me. Houston on the clock. Philly traded down, so Mask is coming off.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be interested to see what we got.
What they got, yeah, probably a 5th. I'd imagine a 5th or a 6th, maybe.
What do you think the ceiling is, though, on a guy like Strange? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's pretty high. I think he's a good athletic player. It's tough because the production's not there, right? So it's hard to gauge how he's going to be used. But I think teams are comfortable enough with his ball skills and his athleticism to where they think, in the proper offense, he's going to be a good player.
He's at 8.92 RAS, so pretty good athleticism there. He ended up as I had him down at tight end 15. I was just like, who cares? But wow, okay. Yeah. 6'3", 245. He overlapped with Freiermuth, right? So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why Kuntz transferred,
another Penn State guy. Scruggs.
Eagles.
Sorry about that. 2 Penn State guys in a row. I get excited.
Oh, center Juice. Oh, Juice Scruggs. Okay, yeah, there you go.
That's a great name.
Yeah, big boy. As I remember, a little big for a center. Probably not going to be your athletic move center like Kelsey. But if teams are going to more gap scheme, if you're gonna like Brian's been talking about, if you're gonna feature a player like Damian Pierce, a big, strong center is a nice way to go.
So allow me a second here. I don't usually like economics because it incorporates rational behavior, right? and I usually like political economy, which is more nuanced, right, and deals more with humans. But I think we're really looking at supply and demand here with big wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah.
I think the supply of big wide receivers is low, so they're floating up. The supply of running backs is bigger, combined with how the NFL treats them already, and so they're floating. And they're still getting that 3rd, 4th round that I was expecting. But yeah, I did not think Mingo and Rice were going to go that high. I knew they were like day 2. I didn't think round 2. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see. I was more along the lines of I thought they would go round 2, but I also thought Tillman would go round 2, and it doesn't look like he is. So,
Mims.
To the
Broncos.
Wow.
Judy getting traded?
What's that?
Judy getting traded?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say he can play more out of the slot, and they can move guys around quite a bit. I would say Hamler's more hurt than we think he is, and they don't really like Montrezl Washington or whoever the other.
Hamler's always hurt.
Yeah, Hamler's not on Peyton's radar, is what this says. They need a third wide receiver late in the second.
I like this a lot for Russ.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Russ's value, yeah. Russ's value is about to skyrocket in season anyway. Mm-hmm. But this helps it go up now.
In my final wide receivers tier video, which you can check out on the Dynasty Fever YouTube channel, I said the sweet spot for Mims for me personally was round 3 because it would be high enough that he'd be day 2 capital and I could have faith in that, right? But low enough where he could still kind of remain of value relative to some of the other receivers. So the last pick in the second round is practically the third round anyway, but he's ahead of a couple guys that I thought were going to go ahead of him. But I think he's got enough target competition on the Broncos that any sort of helium from a little higher than expected draft capital is going to get mitigated a little bit, maybe a little bit of the sandbag on that balloon. What do you think?
Yeah, I was really hoping for him to go a little bit later as well because I like him enough to where I'd probably prefer the value on him rather than the kind of premium draft capital. I'm not saying this is premium draft capital, but it's decent. I would have preferred for him to get taken later, and then also the fit in Denver. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither.
So. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I really like the player.
Yeah. I mean, I had him vaulted all the way up to my wide receiver 3. Like I love Mims. Oh
wow. Yeah, so you're higher. So I say I like him, but you're much higher on him than I am.
Love him. And now I can't justify 3, But I don't know. Sean Payton does weird things, right? Remains to be seen if one of those wide receivers does get traded. Who knows? Payton could love Mims, and that's why they took him. I don't know. As it stands now, I think he does enough things differently from who they have there, aside from Hamler, of course. That I think he's okay, but I would like to see one of the guys get traded to be more in love with it. But I don't know, Jesse. It's a wrap on round 2, and it's 9:15. You wanna
Birds on the clock for 2. So Chad, your worst nightmare has come true. Your best friend that's an Eagles fan is live with you for 2 picks.
Is this my worst nightmare, though? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not great, but...
I guess you could get kicked in the balls by a horse.
Yeah, that'd be worse, probably. I mean, this is not great. This is not ideal, but...
I mean, we're talking about things that haven't happened, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm going to take free birth control.
Yeah, it is. Didn't you conceive a child after that happened, though?
Yeah, I also didn't get kicked in the balls, so yeah.
I mean, so you say. I played Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, and I know if you walk behind a horse and try to steal the gold, you get kicked in the balls.
Yeah, multiple times. He's used to it. I was getting kicked like every 5 seconds in that game.
So. It's probably my favorite game of all time, by the way.
Really? It's a good game. It's a good game.
I like better. I love them both so much.
Yeah, man, you're a real cowboy at heart, huh? It's
I am honestly. When I was a kid,
you love Yellowstone. You love Red Dead Redemption.
When I was a kid, I had an uncle that I never met. He's like the black sheep. He worked on a horse ranch, and he sent me a cowboy hat.
Oh, nice.
It was like a triple X beaver. He said
with a Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah, pretty much. And it had a rattlesnake skin as the band.
Oh, that's badass. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I was like 5, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I wore that and my Darth Vader mask and my cowboy boots and my diaper for like a year. That was my outfit. And then I added a cape when I got a little older, and I was a badass.
A cape. Nice.
Yes. Darth Vader mask, cowboy hat, cape, cowboy boots, diaper. You can't. There's
Badass.
not a better costume in the world.
Not at all.
And the thing is, I could totally picture you wearing that at age 48, right?
I have to say, I was just thinking. So we have our best friends are huge 311 fans, and they go on the 311 cruise every other year, and it's hard to get on. You know, it's like you're mingling with 311 and Slightly Stupid and 10 other bands that are like 311 on this cruise. So it's hard to get on. And so they are on the like automatic list for 2 rooms and got us a room for next year. So I'm thinking if I can put it together, it'd be a good costume for the 311 concert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody goes in concert. That's the big thing. Like,
Nice.
Oh, okay.
people dress as giant dildos. My friend goes as Jesus. It's a good time.
Is it on March 11th?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, yeah, it is. Now I think about it, yeah, it is.
Oh.
Who did the Bears just take?
Zach Evans
Eagles.
and George Pickens, love child Zach Pickens.
Eagles on the clock for 2, Jesse.
Eagles on the clock for 2. Holy shit! Here we go, baby. Come on, Howie, work your magic, my friend. So we got a 6th and a 7th, not a 5th.
Nice.
To move back 3 spots, which that's great.
Yeah, I didn't know how many spots they moved back originally.
I mean,
a 6th and a 7th is nice.
I knew he was going to move back at some point. So
Yeah.
now that this pick is about to be on the clock, we haven't talked about the tampering yet. So what really bugs me about this, 3rd round swap that we did with the Cardinals is that they talked to Gannon before the Super Bowl, and then he came out with a shit ass game plan. It really makes me wonder if he was distracted or not really trying. It really bugs me. It really actually may have made a difference because his game plan was garbage. He single covered Kelsey for the entire first half. It was really bad, and the second half wasn't much better. We got gashed by other players, and we had the talent to cover them, and we just didn't. So, I mean, not that Slay had the greatest game. I don't want to rehash the Super Bowl too much, but I do feel as though
Too late now. What other conspiracy theories you got?
No, I'm just saying that this it's not a conspiracy theory. We moved up almost a full round in the 3rd round and gave.
Well, that's just because they didn't want the NFL to deal with it.
Well, no, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah,
the Cardinals turned themselves in. The Eagles didn't even file a complaint.
Yeah. Because the Cardinals saw how the NFL was cracking down on people, and they were like, "Oh shit, let's tell them," and then figure something out because they didn't want their 1st round pick deducted next year.
I'll take Rondale Moore. Free run. Actually, no, I'd rather have to trade up in the 3rd than Rondale Moore. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's literally all it came down to was the Cardinals saw all of these teams getting in trouble and they were like, oh shit, like, the Tom Brady tampering happened. They got their 1st pick confiscated. They didn't want that shit to happen to them.
Yeah. I mean, they are shady as fuck. We know that. Aren't they the team that had the coach fired for groping?
Oh, I don't remember. I know they got in trouble for not in trouble, but they got a lot of media attention for their just their organization being shit because
Well, yeah, I did read there's an executive that filed a really detailed lawsuit against them for blocking his career because he spoke up against certain practices that he thought were unfair or breaking the law actually, and I forget who it is. Oh, McDonough. It's actually it's the son of Sean McDonough.
Oh, is it really?
I believe so, yeah. So, the Cardinals are probably not full of great people. in their front office. Pick is in. Guy talking on microphone. Come on. This is driving me nuts. Come on. Just give me who's the Tank Bigsby, I guess is who I want here if it's not Darnell. But please give me Darnell. He's still there. And we could do both. Darnell and Tank. And then our offense is just, as unstoppable as our defense, probably.
Watts are gonna grab Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I thought about that earlier. That would be such a Howie move.
Yeah, for sure.
Brian, who's your call for the Eagles pick here? Or the Eagles picks here?
I don't know.
You can just say defense if you want, or offensive line if you want.
I think either of those because they're the Eagles.
I mean,
I wouldn't be completely surprised if they went wide receiver.
I mean, people have been talking about them wanting a slot, because Quez is Quez, which I kind of like Quez, but I mean, honestly, if the Eagles took Downs right now, right? Like, I don't know that would be good for Downs, right? Because now
I forgot Downs is on the board.
You're talking about a lower volume offense, but and him being like the fourth pass catching option on the
it wouldn't be it wouldn't be great for his. It wouldn't be good for his fantasy stock, but I would lose my shit as an Eagles fan. I'd love to have him. He fits our offense perfectly. It's exactly what we need. Is an instant open chain mover. Oh my god!
Look at all these green Muppets.
The crowds at the drafts are just so cringy. They were playing. There was a cover band playing "Fight for Your Right to Party," and they were showing like 70-year-old Chiefs fans like singing and dancing to it.
Yeah,
last night it was just. It was so bad.
Who's this? Jesse?
I don't know. Big man.
Some defensive lineman.
Trent Cole. Trent Cole. He gave you nightmares. I know that.
They couldn't get anybody better than Trent Cole.
Oh my God. Trent Cole is the greatest 6th round pick of all time.
He's
Tyler Steen. Bama. So big surprise. Eagles take a tackle.
Yeah. What a surprise. They need their third tackles.
I mean, we actually have a nice third tackle.
Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Tackle, right?
So actually he's got higher scores than a lot of these guys that went in the second round. 73, 78. He
won't see the field for his entire rookie contract.
So I'll have to learn. So he looks like a right tackle. Most likely in the NFL. Where's number 55? I don't know, 65? I don't know. I 54. Just see Gibbs. They're showing Gibbs highlights. All right, so yeah, big surprise. Oh, and Eagles take safety Sidney Brown, Illinois. Beautiful. Nice.
Canadian.
He's Canadian?
Yeah. That's Chase Brown's brother. Twin brother.
Mm-hmm. Really? 5'9", 211. Good.
They should have went Chase Brown.
Thickness. Should have gone save Chase
Brown.
Go
get his brother.
Something tells me he'll be available with that trade back pick we got.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I just want to see them pick a freaking running back, man. I want somebody to take a running back. God damn.
Yeah, offensive line and defense going here.
Broncos. A lot of people say like A-Chain to the Broncos as a true pass catcher in a Peyton offense. I of course don't like A-Chain, but it's certainly a good spot for him as a player.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done bartering for with the draft gods for specific players. I just want somebody. Just give me a few wide receivers, please. Give me a few running backs. Anybody.
Yeah, well, something tells me that we're going to be waiting for tomorrow for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And we're going to be left a little disappointed when it comes to running back.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Do we possibly have?
I'm back.
Oh. I removed him.
Back again.
I'll just re-add myself. I'm unstoppable.
From the compound.
Oh yeah, I'm in the
Stop.
studio now. My son is safely from one friend's house to another. I'm pretty much free. I'm watching the draft, crying like the rest of you. It is a long, brutal second round. Maybe the third round will treat us better.
Yeah.
All right, the
This
Mets is coming
second
up.
round's been rough.
Memphis, Charbonnet to Seattle. Come on, talk to me.
I giggled. The only winner.
You giggled.
Of course I did. I like Zach Charbonnet, but I giggled. The only winner there is Gino.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gino's the big winner of this draft.
We literally like poke fun at Arthur Smith in Atlanta for establishing the run. What the hell do you think Pete wants to do? I mean, he's
Well, he
going
also
to.
took JSN in the first. He's got Lockett and DK. I mean,
Sir, you're asking me to make rational thought concepts out of irrational people's decisions. It's going to get bad.
here's my thought though, and I talked about it earlier. Seattle is easily the number 2 team in the NFC right now.
It might be the number 1, Jesse. Who knows?
Nah, just
Why are you poking the bear? You're like stabbing with a stick.
But seriously, I mean, after their draft last year, which was a historic draft, by the way, and then their draft, I mean, so far this year they're just killing it, man. They are just killing it.
I mean, you got to have offense to win. I mean, it's 2023. It's great to have defense. It's great. I mean, and I know everybody wants to, bend over and grab their ankles for Howie. I get it. But at some point, you got to continue to invest in the offense. You got it. Who'd they take at 10? They took a defensive tackle. Then they turned around at 30 and took a defensive edge rusher / stand-up linebacker that's kind of got like an injury issue. And it's like at some point when are you going to run the ball and play defense? I guess that's the strategy.
So I think with Seattle, do you remember the old Spawn Insane and Pray for Rain? Memphis as a baseball guy?
Yeah. Well, you're hoping to go Warren Spawn and then the other guy, and then you're hoping to get Rain so that you could get some more starts out of Warren Spawn and the other guy.
Exactly. I think we're going to get Walker and Charbonnet and pray for injury.
I mean, it's
one or the
tough.
other.
I mean, how far did Kenneth Walker fall in your dynasty rankings? I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot and holding.
Well, we did
you
talk
to
about
it,
this, right? So ATN or Kenneth Walker?
Oh, still Kenneth Walker. I don't think ETN has done enough consistently. We don't know what their plan is yet. That's the gross part. You got to go back to almost when Rashad Penny was healthy. But when Rashad Penny was healthy, he only played like 5 games.
Yeah.
Then Kenneth Walker was, coming off of was it a training camp or a pre-training camp injury, and he wasn't at 100%. We've not really seen 2 running backs, but I know this with the amount of work that like DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, who is gone, by the way, Rashad Penny, who is gone. You knew they were going to bring in somebody to this backfield. You were hoping it wasn't going to be someone the caliber of a Zach Charbonnet.
Right. So maybe we're overestimating the caliber of Zach Charbonnet. Although
no, I don't think so.
I think you're overestimating the caliber of Kenneth Walker, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. Right on.
Well, I've already moved him to at least my RB4 in a startup. He was between 2 and 3 with Breece Hall, but I mean, due to circumstances beyond his control, right?
Right.
I've got a snapshot moment in time. He's at least got to be 4, whereas in a lot of cases he was 2, and it could be worse. Bijan's moved to 3. Bijan's
leapfrogged past
leapfrog
that for me. I mean, I think he's at best 6 for me now. I mean, and I don't even know if I want to touch him with that value.
I mean, he was already my 5. So I mean, he's gonna get down there even with Etienne, even though I don't love Etienne. I always thought Kenneth Walker was a little overrated anyway. So, but
it just made the projection.
I don't know, man. The way that he played, I don't know how you could say he's overrated. I mean, he only exceeded like everything we thought he would do last year. The minute he was given the opportunity, from a fantasy standpoint, he was a gem. He was the league winner down the stretch.
Yep. I think
he was all right. But when you look at like I mean, I know people don't like hearing this, but when you look under the hood at some of the peripherals, it suggests that he performed above where, like, you know, the math would have expected him to perform. So, you know, things like, for example, success rate, right, which is like a metric that analytics uses in football. He was like one of the lowest when it comes of like backs that got like whatever X number of carries, right? You know, I don't know that he really outdid any expectations that I had for, you know, the 102 lead, you know, rookie draft lead back in Seattle. I think he's overrated.
I always thought he was properly rated. I thought he was a really good football player who came in and exceeded his 2022. This time last year, we were convinced he wasn't a pass catcher and he was going to have to wait out Rashad Penny. And I'm going to pull up his points per game. Gotta love a guy that exceeds expectations.
I think the thing with me, I really like him as a player, but it's just the projection of his opportunity now is muddy. I mean, you can't watch a team take a back in the second round and then look at your player who's still a projection. I mean, for productivity, he's still a projection, right? Because he didn't do it over the course of a season. So we're still projecting for him to be, you know, a high-end running back going forward. But, I mean, how is this not a committee now? How is this not a committee where, I mean, even if Walker sees, you know, 60, 55% of the carries, like, that's not going to justify him being an RB4.
Well, I mean, he's not the RB4. He's still an RB1. I mean, he literally had double-digit fantasy points in PPR every single game except for the game in week 13 he got hurt. And then he missed week 14.
I mean, I have him here listed as 13.5 points per game, right? PPR, and with a 202.5 total for the year.
Lions just pick Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, so a few things here. So before we go over the Hendon Hooker thing, Memphis, something we ask every one of our guests, as the healthy guy, the clean living guy, what are you drinking tonight?
Soda. I don't know how.
Oh,
yeah, that looks like a big gulp. I was just about to say.
Brother. I mean, if I'm going to be up podcasting, I mean,
wow. Okay, soda. Okay,
yeah, I mean, it's not cocaine.
That's true. There's always something worse.
So
it's a Diet Mountain Dew. It's
Diet
it's
Mountain Dew.
9:30.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and there's no sugar in here. Chemicals, but no sugar.
Yeah,
nice.
there you
Okay,
go.
right on.
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing is,
That's
as
America's
Hendon
water.
Hooker was being picked by the Lions, I was on TV. I was on NFL Network because they showed that bomb to Hyatt when I was in the first row in the corner of the end zone, and I was just on NFL Network.
Well,
Oh yeah, spotted you. I was just about to say.
I didn't see myself, but I know I was there.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, definitely too far away to see you, Jesse.
More importantly, my beautiful wife was on TV, who Peyton Manning said hello to, and just totally gave me the sheriff treatment.
Well, that's because your wife gave him the bourbon and squirt flirt, and you know it was over after that.
She
right?
did not hand him a lusty flirt. All right, gentlemen, Hendon Hooker to the Lions.
Memphis. That's a callback to something earlier, and it's not as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, it's not.
So,
my wife likes Evan Williams and squirt. She calls
for what it's worth, PFF had Hooker mocked today to 34 to the Lions, but here he goes one round later to the Lions in the third.
So he's Malik Willis.
I said before
it's appropriate with the injury and the age.
I said before that the NFL doesn't draft quarterbacks in the second round much, right? Like it's usually first or after the second round. You don't really see them in the second round. So I'm not super surprised he slid to the third. However, I don't think he's a slide to the third quarterback in the mold of a Sam Howell or a Malik Willis. They slid because they were underwhelming. I think Jesse's spot on with that. He's sliding because of age, injury. And I will say the college offense was underdeveloped, right? Like he only had to read half the field. But
so that's like not strike one, strike two, and strike three. But outside of that, we love him.
But he goes to it. Well, I mean, the thing is, age doesn't matter as much for quarterback. ACL doesn't matter as much for a quarterback like him. and he goes somewhere where he can burn that time of recovering from the ACL and learning the NFL playbook under Goff and then inherit a high octane offense. I don't, as far as third round quarterbacks go, I don't hate it, right? Obviously, I'm not saying, oh, take him with the 110 or whatever in your rookie drafts, but the story could be a lot worse for him.
At 210, I might be in.
Sorry to interrupt, but Houston takes the hometown boy and Tank Dell.
Wow, in the high third.
People are going to be all over him. I don't want anything to do with him.
Memphis.
Finally, something something finally that Brian and I agree on. And no part.
He just called you Jerry.
Well, normally I'm arguing with Jerry. You got to forgive me. It's like it's an old reflex.
Nice. So you're out on Tank Dell.
I was never in. You got to be in to be out.
I mean he's tiny. He's Atwell size, right?
He's a 5. He's Rondale Moore if you're lucky.
He's got better skills than Rondale Moore. He's quick. He gets open. He is a separation machine, and he's got long speed.
I'll tell you what.
He's 4.49. He's at the combine. He's a 4.59. He's a 4.5 guy. I'm rounding up. And he didn't do any. So you're a small guy and you don't do any of the agility drills.
Yeah.
No jumping. No 3-cone. What are you hiding?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. He is a fun player to watch. I watch a lot.
He really is. I mean, on
tape,
the agility comes out. I mean, the guy is open all the time and open deep. So testing aside,
and I just pulled it up. Rondale Moore 4.37. Oh, and he tested in all the agility metrics. Rondale Moore was in the 97th percentile for burst and the 94th percentile in agility. So
Rondale's a much better athlete, but Tank Dell is a much better receiver.
Yes, much better football player. Rondale Moore's idea of running a route is, you want me to run where?
Well, I can't wait to see this technician. I can't wait to see this technician that is 5'8", $180 Tank Dell.
Well, it's
hard to pick him up in fantasy, but he's a fun player to watch. I mean, he's really talented.
I have him in the 5th round. I don't love him.
Look, John Mechie continues to win. John Mechie continues to win. This is not a threat to John Mechie. Him and Bobby Trees are not threats to what John Mechie is going to do. I'm telling you right now, for those listening, go out and get some John Mechie because no one's paying attention. By the way, I had an epiphany, Jerry, Jesus Christ, Jesse. Can I share it with you?
Yes, sir.
If you have the 104 or later in a rookie draft, just go trade it for like Tyreek Hill. I'm not Tyreek Hill. Terry McLaurin. Just be done with it. Why even put yourself through the struggle and the heartache of trying to guess 104? Who cares? Just go take Terry McLaurin.
105, you mean?
No, 104.
So you don't super flex?
You don't want Stroud?
I wouldn't take Stroud as he's my QB3.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're excited about a quarterback that has a defensive-minded head coach and an offensive coordinator that literally interned at PFF. There's no real offensive mind in that league.
The Shanny system.
Huh?
He comes from the Shanny system. That's what they're going to deploy.
Great. I mean, but so the first year, I just don't see sparks flying there. Mm-hmm. I have to be honest and put him ahead of Levis, but
he has a franchise left tackle. He's got the aforementioned John Mechie there. Okay. He's got aforementioned John Mechie. He's got his ex in Nico Collins. He has a
come on. Nico Collins is
Price tight ended.
If there's a question, Nico Collins is not the answer.
All of this adds up to B minus level assets, right?
Saints took Kendre Miller.
So that's an ouch to Jamal Williams, right?
That's tough for Jamal. That's tough. I mean,
but Jamal was never really a thing there.
I don't know. They gave him good money from what I remember. And, especially with the Kamara suspension and the fact that people forget that Jamal Williams can actually catch passes. Like, I'm not surprised at the way the NFL treats running back. I just, it's not good for what people were projecting for Jamal's role there.
Is he the RB3?
But then
again,
I don't
RB3 in the class.
I don't like Kendre Miller much to begin with, so I don't know.
No,
Okay.
so what that tells me is that's a whiff by the Saints, and he's not really going to challenge Jamal Williams. And so good. If that's the running back they were going to take, good.
He's not likely, like for seasonal leagues, he's probably not likely to do a lot because the head coach is an old stodgy defensive-minded head coach, and you got to earn your stripes and blah, blah, blah. So it'll still be but if Kamara is suspended, I mean, I just reading this 71st overall, how is he not your RB3? I'll still listen to Zach Charbonnet, but how can you not be excited about this landing spot?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean,
right
you
now.
got to
He's
be
RB3
getting
for me, but I mean, I think there's still a good chunk of this round to go. So
yeah, I mean, I guess for me it matters a little bit of what you thought about Kendre Miller coming into it, right? So like when I think about what level did I have him at pre-draft, right? And how far above that level is he being drafted? How much justifies it, et cetera, et cetera. It's all a calculus where, like, say, for example, he's my RB 8 or 9, right? And now he goes to the Saints, which is a landing spot I don't love, right? And if 2 picks later, my RB 5, Tank Bigsby, goes to I don't even know who's on the clock then, but goes to a landing spot that I do like, then easy Tank Bigsby smash over Kendre Miller like that.
Yeah, getting a little nervous. We need some Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby could land on the moon, and I wouldn't put Tank Bigsby in my top 5.
Chad, are you okay right now? I know your pins and needles. Giants are on deck with Tillman on the board. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm hoping they go Tillman. I'm really, really, really hoping they go Tillman here. But yeah,
so this
I
is
might be quiet for a few minutes.
They're gonna take Jalen Hyatt.
I know they are. Shut up, Memphis. God, shut up.
Wait, I have the Cardinals
they
pick
are.
in, and then I have the Rams after them. Am I missing something?
Giants are supposed to be on deck. Maybe the Rams traded up, and I'm not updated.
Yeah, it's still showing Giants on the live feed for me.
I'm seeing the Cardinals on the clock, then the Giants on ESPN.
Yeah, okay. The website on NFL.com isn't refreshing fast enough.
So it goes Cardinals, Giants, Browns.
So the Giants traded up for this pick?
It does have a trade symbol next to the thing, so I can click on it. Let's see what it does not allow me to see what the trade was.
Oh, that's right. It has to be a trade because I was thinking this might be our extra third, but we traded the extra third for Waller.
What a steal! That's a steal.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Memphis,
yes, sir.
In your honor,
I'll
show you this. Right, this is a Penn State Miles Sanders.
Okay.
Autographed football.
You need my address?
I think I do actually. If you want to text it.
Okay.
By the way, if we want to find another thing that Memphis and I agree on, it's free Miles Sanders, and getting back with Frank Reich without Jalen Hurts there is a good thing for that.
Yeah. So, Bryce Young is not. He's going to be a check. Look at Frank Reich's offense. Go look at the Naheem Hines year with him and Jonathan Taylor. I think it was Taylor's rookie year. They both just smashed everywhere. I mean, I don't think Bryce Young's going to be the mobile guy. I think he's going to be the check down guy. So
real quick, Memphis, it is a Friday night. Do you not have a bottle of bourbon or scotch in your house?
I've got wine. I don't really have like any hard liquor in the house.
Okay. I mean, a glass of red wine's fine.
No, I got a glass of Mountain Dew. It's all good.
All right, cool.
Garrett Williams.
This football, I won under the DWZ banner. I entered a charity tournament for Juan Jeezy's ACG tournament, I think it was called, and we won under Dynasty War Games, Dynasty Warzone banner. So I have no use for this thing. It was just sitting behind me, so I'd be happy to send it.
I can put it next to the Bo Jackson shoes.
All right,
and the Wicked hat collection, the Wicked. So
it would absolutely make me happy.
By the way, that's an iconic Bo Jackson poster picture from.
It's not an original. It's from some poster spot online where it was a remake.
Dude, I remember that being a kid. I remember when I was a kid that poster being there, and like I loved Bo Jackson.
The ball player.
Oh man.
I mean, I loved him as a Chicago White Sox more than like actually.
Jalen Hyatt to the New York Giants. I called it. You know how some folks have premonitions? I'm one of them.
Chad, are you okay, buddy? And he's silent. I don't think he is. We might have had a heart attack.
There's your YouTube short right there. Is Chad Mendoza's reaction to the Giants taking Hyatt?
Oh, I wait a minute. I have Chad's reaction right here. If I can
is a black screen and silence.
6'176" from Tennessee. 4'40". Some say he can only run a go and a stop. Some say he can't beat press. Others say he's more than that. We'll find out.
You know, back in the day, for those of you that watched pro wrestling many years ago, they said Kevin Nash only had 3 moves, and Kevin Nash countered that with, and all 3 of them hurt like hell. So you know what? I mean, if you've got guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Waller and Saquon Barkley working that short to intermediate area, don't you want the speed guy?
I mean, it does give them an element they don't have.
All right,
but Paris Campbell, they signed Paris Campbell.
Well, we have Darius Slayton too, but he's a better Darius Slayton basically.
It's like going to see a cover band. It's not like the actual thing. You're missing the superstar.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you get a guy,
I guess Waller is, I guess, the superstar. So
seriously, if you can get a guy that can take a top off of defense in the 3rd round, it's not a bad pick.
I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Giants all offseason, all they've been talking about is speed. We need to get faster. They had the slowest wide receiver core on a route per run basis in the entire NFL. So yeah, they have to get some speed. That's why they brought in Waller to get faster at the tight end position.
Well, how do you put pressure on the good corners in Philadelphia? How do you put pressure on them?
Yeah,
guys who can run by him. Yep. And Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt can run by people, which will then theoretically pull more safeties out of the box, freeing up more room to run for Saquon Barkley and more underneath stuff for, again, guys like Wan'Dale, Waller, and Barkley. So
if Saquon reports to the team,
and then Cedric Tillman. By the way, Cedric Tillman, they went back to back.
Oh, Browns take Tillman. Ooh,
I'm telling you, dude, Deshaun Watson to the moon.
Yep. Oh, I love that landing spot for Tillman. I'm a Tillman fan, so I'm happy with it. But,
hey, Chad, I do have one thing about that Jalen Hyatt pick for you.
What's that?
Bad judgment.
Bad judgment.
So as far as rookie drafts go with Hyatt, I think people who were still in on him in the late 1st and early 2nd probably aren't moving much with that, with that as far as draft capital goes. So that's good for those of us who are pretty much out on Hyatt. Tillman, I'm wondering, Chad, what you love about the landing spot with Amari Cooper, DPJ, and Elijah Moore already there.
Well, I don't think DPJ is a guy. So
yeah, I don't think he's much, but he's there, right? So where does Tillman fit in?
I mean, I think he's an X. He's an X. So
I think he kicks Donovan Peoples-Jones at the curb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
he's their X. That's how I see him.
Okay. So as far as like pecking order and usage tree, though, this can't be good for Elijah Moore for those of us who like Tillman, right?
I think it's great. If this scares anybody off of Elijah Moore, sign me up for Elijah Moore.
Yep, I'm with
because
you.
Amari Cooper is only going to be there this year. And if they don't want to, Amari Cooper has $0.0 of dead cap.
Right.
If they wanted to get rid of Amari Cooper, they could do it now, and it would have 0 impact financially.
Yeah,
zero.
This is the new Amari Cooper.
Well, this is insulation against Amari Cooper because Amari Cooper is not the healthiest guy around. His splits in true cold weather games are not great. And this is just more pieces. I'm telling you, this is we gave Deshaun Watson $231 million guaranteed, and we gave Houston a truckload of picks. We've got to make sure so basically what Cleveland's doing is, and we're not talking about it, is they're doing for Deshaun Watson what the Bears are doing for Justin Fields. They are making sure that what they have invested is getting protected and fed. I don't mind it.
When Matthew Berry wrote his 900 million things I heard at the Combine article, one of them was a lot of buzz around people saying like They're going to really make it a lot more passing this year. They're gonna help Watson with weapons and speed, and don't think that you're going to see as much of Chubb as you used to. Then they go ahead and add Elijah Moore and Cedric Tillman. There's definitely some fire to that smoke. I don't know how Memphis. I'm on Spotrac right now, and it's like I don't know the salary cap stuff well. It says that Cooper's dead cap is 15 this year, 11 next year, and then 7.5.
And they could have restructured, because I may have been, because when he signed that deal with Dallas, this was the out year, so they could have restructured him when he went to Cleveland or this year, because right here it is, March 19, 2022, the Browns restructured wide receiver Amari Cooper's deal. So the original Dallas deal had a different structure to it.
All right.
But that dead money goes down pretty substantially next year.
A little bit about Tillman. He is a small Mike Williams athletically. He had the same profile at, I believe, a couple inches shorter and about 10 pounds lighter. So that's what you're getting. You're getting a Mike Williams type, somebody that can get open deep and has shown that. Actually, he's got the skills to get open deep. He can stack a receiver. He can step on toes. He's more of a technician than you would expect at his size, and is a contested ball monster. So he makes great catches. He's got a huge catch radius. You're going to see him make a couple catches this year where you're going to be like, oh yeah, okay, I know why that guy went. I know why I want that guy. Mm-hmm. Right? It kind of like a Pickens deal, although that catch he made was more Odell-like than Mike Williams.
I love Tillman. I think he's very underrated. I think a lot of the people who are poo-pooing him look at the late breakout, the overall age, right? The 1 year of production despite the injury the following year, right? And I think context matters, right? He redshirted his freshman year. He was a late recruit to Tennessee. Like, they had a guy like uncommit. And so like somebody from Tennessee went to USC and said to Tillman, come on, here. And so he redshirted his freshman year. He was competing with other wide receivers for a couple of years. When he got a competent coach and a quarterback, he really did really well in 2021. I think context matters with Tillman, and he's a guy that is underrated, I think.
A lot has to be said about the Tennessee coaching change. It changed everything in Tennessee, right?
Can I call my shot real quick?
All these guys to light. Yes, please.
In one of the next 4 picks, Michael Wilson from Stanford is going to go. The wide receiver from Stanford. Wow. He could either go to the Patriots, the Rams, maybe the Colts, or the Packers, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That is a super deep cut. So
it's not super deep. It's not. I mean, at least for me, like, I love Michael Wilson relative to the market, I think. So I agree with Memphis on this one. Really checkered injury history limited him to a few games, and so there's also the age baked into the fact that of that as well. But honestly, the skills are there. Like,
well, it's not really that checkered though. I mean, it was a foot injury that he did the back half of his. I think it was a back half of his sophomore year, and then it lingered. It was like a Liz Frank type deal where it usually has to be repaired twice.
Well, I just mean that he wound up playing like 14 games over 3 years or something.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna start reevaluating, because that was one of my knocks last year on Drake London, was that he had never played more than 8 games in a single season in college, and then he literally came out and played them all last year. Mm. So if it's something like significant, like maybe multiple ACLs or something,
yeah.
But if a guy has like a couple of things against him in college, apparently the Patriots do hate Mac Jones because they took their 3rd defensive player of the draft.
I'll call my shot. So I think the next wide receiver off the board is Tyler Scott, Cincinnati.
Great call. Great speed. He's probably the fastest wide receiver in the draft, if I'm right, from a combine perspective.
The NFL loves Tyler Scott.
Yeah.
I think they love him a lot more than I do, but yeah.
Let's see. We have he'd be a great fit for the Rams, but you have Rams, Green Bay, Indy. He'd be a great fit for Indy.
With the Rams,
would be a great fit for Tennessee as well.
I think the Colts will wind up with Downs. They got to replace the speed they lost with Campbell.
I can't believe Downs is still there. This is a huge fall for him. So pending landing spot, how far of a fall is he in rookie drafts now? Because he was a high second coming in today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were projecting him at that 201, 202 spot. So
yeah, Indy is
out the window now.
Indy is kind of a perfect fit. Again, an instant open guy that AR is really going to need.
Somebody text Dallas. He's hurting right now.
I hope Dallas is okay.
Can we call him Joshua Downs bad?
Yeah.
So, Jesse, I moved him down to 6 in my wide receivers in my final pre-draft rankings. And if you remember, he's one of the reasons I faded him was because of the new NFL I keep talking about with the gap running, right? And the more 12 and 22 personnel, that a guy who's only slot and small, not like Mims and Flowers, right? I'm fading a little more to get ahead of that trend. I'm not saying that like I'm super genius and I'm ahead of the trend that the NFL is doing, but like, I don't know, 2 and 2 kind of fits together for me here. I think 5'9", 171 is part of the reason why Downs is slipping.
Yeah, short and skinny, it has not been a recipe for success. So you kind of need one or the other. Devontae Smith is sort of the limit, right? Like you can't be shorter or skinnier than him.
I know you guys have. I don't have a drop for this. I know you guys have seen the American Cinematic Classic Animal House, where the dean tells the guy, "Fat, drunk, and stupid is the no way to go through life." Short and skinny is no way to go through the NFL.
Was that Flounder? He said that too.
I mean,
it was exactly.
He's going behind Tank effing Dell. Like that's bad. I mean, Tank Dell is a really good route runner, and his 10-yard split was very good. But like,
where did Tank Dell go again?
Houston, hometown.
Yeah,
Tucker
Tank
Kraft
Dell was one of those.
Second tight end for the Packers.
They're going full New England Patriots from a couple of years ago.
Yep,
where they took Josiah DeGuara and maybe as the Packers, but
I think you've got Musgrave as your kind of
dude.
Big
I love Musgrave.
Yeah, it was the Patriots. It was the Asai and
Asi and Dalton Keene.
Yeah, Dalton Keene. That's right.
Both in the 3rd round. Yeah.
So I'm going to share something with you guys in the DWZ patron group chat. So my son knows I'm a Will Levis guy. And of course, as we all should, when information changes, we got to change our opinion. But my son does not give me that grace. And he sent me a picture of Will Levis drafted 937th to the Shanghai Sharks.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? You got to call out your wins and you got to call out your misses.
He's the Bazooka Sharks from American Dad, right? The arena football team from American Dad, right? Tucker Kraft is interesting. He's kind of raw-ish, especially coming from FCS, but there's definitely some stuff to like about him. I had him, I think is like my tight end 6 or 7 going into this. He definitely improved like his hands and I think is a good enough pass catcher and has a blocking foundation. Like I think they're doing like with Musgrave and him kind of like like a Kincaid and Knox in Buffalo and like I don't know, Gesicki and Henry right now in New England, 2 different types of tight ends. I think that's the way the NFL is going. I think, though, with Musgrave there, the fantasy value of Tucker Kraft is a little bit dinged by that, but definitely they have faith in him to take him in the 3rd round. So
yeah, I think it's going to ding both of them for consensus. You might be able to get both of them a bit later than you probably would have anticipated if they were separate destinations.
My man, and there it is. Josh Downs.
Josh Downs.
To the Colts.
So I missed
think it's a
I missed
perfect
the Michael
fit.
Wilson, but this was the spot.
I think it's a perfect fit.
All I had to do is tweet it.
What's that?
I said all I had to do was tweet it.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect fit. It's exactly what they need. Steichen knows how to use a guy like that. I think Steichen knows how to use a guy that's going to instant open short area. And God, does that play into an RPO system, right? Where you have Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, and a guy that's automatically open at 7 yards.
Yep.
So what do you defend? It's going to be really tough to defend come week 5 or 6, I'm going to call, when Gardner Minshew gets benched.
Good.
I think that's a landing spot that a lot of people are going to like.
It might only take 3 weeks for Gardner Minshew to show his stripes and get benched.
For as much as he fell draft capital wise, the landing spot starts to bring that up a little bit more.
It's a great fit.
Yeah. Good ball skills, excellent contested catch. I was making fun of his size. He does play bigger than his size. I think, like you said, he's a good fit for the offense. Memphis, as a Colts fan, Isaiah McKenzie, is he going to get playing time early while Downs learns and Downs, maybe breaks in later, or not a threat at all?
I mean, you need his speed. So he's going to be out there. Run your wind sprints, get ready. A lot of go routes, a lot of 9 routes. It's perfect. He'll be really good and jacked. He'll look like an Olympic sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But that's what you want. You want the guy with the big arm, What do we always say about Tyreek Hill? I joke about Tua, Jesse. I'm sorry. I know you're Tua's number 1 fan, but I joke about Tua. He just puts that ball up there and says, "Fuck it, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle's down there somewhere."
Oh no, he does not. He is
so you gotta have someone to keep the defenses honest. If you want
perfectly accurate, that man.
He's got to throw the ball before they start their route.
Yes,
so it gets it.
So run to the end zone. I need you to be on the S in Colts in like 4.7 seconds. Cool. Done and done. So, I mean, he's the kind of rookie that if you're drafting best balls, he's the kind of rookie wide receiver I throw on the back end. If you play in a dynasty best ball, I would bump him up over some of these other jabronis. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he's going to have like 2 good weeks a year. Now, for those of us that play primarily set your lineup leagues, I don't want to be guessing which week to put this guy in my league. I'm going to be pulling my hair out. I don't have any.
Memphis pulled the no offense on me. Hey, no offense, but your baby's ugly.
Yeah, I mean it's Memphis. I know you've got a Tua jersey.
I do not. You know what?
You're
He's got a Tua picture in his wallet.
He does.
You have a Tua.
You're giving Jesse shit. I'm kind of a Tua guy too. Like I like him, and he's a hyper accurate, not chuck the ball guy. He throws shorter stuff to Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Perfect fit for that.
I mean,
absolutely perfect fit for that offense.
4 weeks straight, 80+ completion percentage.
The only question is
he played 4 weeks straight.
And the judo.
Hey, it was 2021.
The judo, I have it under.
That could be worth dozens of yards.
I have it under confidence. I can't reveal my source, but he has been studying the Wu-Tang Shaolin style of how to not fall on his head.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jesse. Tua sent me a voice note for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Because that's risky business. I am risky business.
Hey, you know what?
He's a risky fella.
You know what? You don't win championships by sitting around and playing it safe.
Do you really think? I want to ask you a serious question because I had to eat it on the Jalen Hurts take. Do you really think, regardless, they could have Jesus and the Jesus All-Stars around him? Do you think Tua is a good enough quarterback not only to win that division that now has Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, but in a conference where they also have Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert? I don't love Russ, but he does have Sean Payton now, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Watson. I mean, does he even make the playoffs?
No, they fucked around and
now they're finding out
and wasted their first round picks. And they're not really. They have a shit defense basically. Really porous in the run. Their line is suspect.
You don't mind all the sound drops, do you? Because I'm having some fun with some new ones that I have not broke out on the Warzone.
But we're not talking about NFL playoffs, Memphis. We're talking about dynasty.
That is true, but for the playoffs,
it hurts, doesn't it? All your dreams just hops down the fucking drain.
Is that
that's Teddy KGB?
Rounders?
Yeah, of course it is. It's American Cinema Classic.
Nice.
I only watch American Cinema Classics.
Yeah.
The only problem with Tua for Dynasty, Jesse, is that he has to be on the field and play games, and he doesn't.
All right.
So
all right.
Wait, that's useful.
All right.
So let me ask you this, Jesse. So in a startup right now with the rookies in there, would you rather have Bryce Young or would you rather have Tua?
Tua.
Based on everything that you know today?
That's not even a question.
So okay. Based on the cast around him, I could see why you would say that. The
NFL success. He already has NFL success.
What NFL success?
He in a point per game basis last year, he was elite. Not 5.
So was Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a small sample, though.
I can't defend against the fact that he got hurt last year. All right, I believe in the man.
Oh, one more sound drop for you, because this is me and Chad currently.
And what do you know? We got a couple haters.
This is me every other episode, Memphis. I love it.
It's my son that you're talking about, by the way.
Oh, that's all right. Like I said, my son, he's all of a sudden he's picking on the old man. It's fine.
Skills, that's my son. I am just here.
You
so
know,
that I won't get fined.
You know who's a player that you guys know I haven't liked, but's been a low key winner this week? Traylon Burks, Traylon Fat. He has him and Okonkwo. Those guys have come out smelling like a rose.
Absolutely. I thought that Traylon Burks showed flashes of actually being an alpha last year. So
The Crip Mac on hood.
Sorry, that was for Mike in the chat.
I went back and watched the couple like good games that he had last year. One of them was the Green Bay game, and he balled. Who's Green Bay's top corner again?
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, he made that man look like he was a 5th round pick rookie. I mean, it was impressive. And then he came out against the Eagles, and like we really didn't have an answer for him until we earholed him and extrafoed him, knocked him right the fuck out in the end zone. Otherwise, he was going to ball out in that game too.
You know what's going to be the turning point for me personally on Traylon Burks this year is how he looks coming into camp. If he looks, this is how I felt about Leonard Fournette. If he shows up to camp looking like a can of busted biscuits, you got trouble. But if he shows up lean, looking in shape, ready to go, he's no longer developed asthma, which is beyond me. But if he looks lean and mean and he's taking this seriously, yeah, absolutely. Traylon Burks is going to be
Spears. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, it was
Wow. I guess the knees aren't that big a deal.
Well, they need an heir apparent and they need a pass catcher. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a
great pick.
Henry. So Memphis, I had an old GM that used to call that if you come in here looking like a 10-pound bag of potatoes, living in a 5-pound bag, then you're on your way out.
Yeah, we used to call that you look like 5 pounds of 10 pounds of monkey shit shoved in a 5-pound bag. Yeah. But I'm looking at it. I mean, I pulled up his player card. He played the first 4 games. He had his best game was 4 for 47. Okay. Then he gets hurt because that's been a thing. He then shows back up and he has a couple of good games. He has 7 for 111 against the Packers. We mentioned that one. Yeah. He had 4 for 70 against the Bengals, and then You know, he had 1 for 25 against your Eagles. Oh, he gets hurt again. Wait, stop me if you've heard this before. And then he comes back and has a couple of 4s for, you know.
So now that injury, though, that was on a touchdown that he was open and got cheap shotted. And this is as an Eagles fan. The Eagles cheap shotted him in the head, ear-holed him in the end zone. That was an open touchdown. So that injury was not his fault.
I mean, I don't think any injuries are anybody's fault. These things just happen. But
Well,
they happen.
soft tissue injuries, I blame the player a lot of times, man. You should have been in better shape. I mean, my dough excluded. I'm not a professional athlete. These guys should not have any dough.
I mean, and I say that Traylon Burks is not fat. Okay, guys. So make sure, you know.
It's funny because he's fat.
So I mean, I'm not. I mean, I just said something nice about Traylon Burks, and you're trying to force me. You're trying to twist my arm into saying something negative about Traylon Burks.
I mean.
And he got a quarterback. He got a quarterback potentially, right? Wasn't that the big concern? Who was his quarterback going to be once Ryan Tannehill was gone? I'm not saying Will Levis is him, but I'm saying Will Levis is better than what was on the bench currently.
For sure.
Right, so let me ask you guys, Memphis, Chad, are you still with us?
I sure am.
I can't really tell because your screen's black. So Chad, you first. What is the overall like career arc potential of Tajay Spears after this year when we think that Derrick Henry might be on his way out?
Yeah,
right?
no,
So I think is he going to be able to take over as a lead back, or is he always going to be a satellite back? Chad, and then the rest of the guys, please.
No, I don't think he's strictly a satellite back. I think if they're picking him here, they're picking him because, you know, they want somebody who can step in after Derrick Henry leaves. I mean, we've already heard multiple times, you know, them shopping him, and even as I mean, even as close as last week, to the Eagles, right?
To Philadelphia.
Yep. So, I mean, that's the thing is, I think if they're picking somebody, it's not a complimentary back; it's their guy, the guy they think that can take over. So that's.
But we also don't know. We don't know what the free agent class is going to look like next year. We don't know what Derrick Henry is going to do, and this is for me that, you know, I like Tajay Spears. I think Tajay Spears is not a I can handle everything guy.
Right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to say he's always going to have somebody there with him, which most backs do. So there's not like true too many 3-down backs back there. But I mean, this is going to be an interesting offense. I'm not going to be. I don't know what to make of it yet. The addition of Levis, no wide receivers yet. But I'm looking at the running backs. I mean, for all the people that were super stoked on Roshan Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Israel Abanikanda, you know, Devon Achane.
Yeah.
You know, is the NFL telling us something about these guys?
Well,
and Tajay Spears got the job.
Or maybe there's just so many of them that they think they can wait and get, you know, some of the later guys available, because there are so many decent backs in this class. There's not, you know,
but with
3-4 guys and then a bunch of scrubs
for sure. And the devaluation of the running back position has made 4th round draft capital not the eyesore and the issue that it was maybe 5 years ago.
For sure, absolutely. I that's something that I've been like pounding the table on like for months now, especially with this deep class, and we were going to see it as the resident Spears truther. Probably, you know, I read some alarming stuff about his right knee the last couple of days, and so I was starting to get worried that he was going to fall. I said he might still get 3rd round capital. And he just did, right? So that's definitely a good sign. I think he can be a 1A or a 1B in the sense that Tony Pollard can, with a certain amount of touches and a certain type of touches.
Yep.
He's definitely a very different back, obviously, from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's contract is up at the end of this year, assuming he's gone next year. I think you got a pretty good window. I mean, Spears can catch passes this year, probably. And then, you know, I think next year, assuming they don't add anybody too threatening to him and assuming I don't know, Hassan Haskins doesn't all of a sudden get a huge role. You know, I think you're looking at a pretty sweet 2024 for Spears if his knee holds up, right? And that's a tough one, right? But it's a good sign that you know, some teams will take him completely off their boards if the knee is that alarming. So it's a good sign that like he still went 81st overall with that knee on board, and being an older prospect and being from a group of 5. Like it's a good sign, you know, relative to what it could have been. And the fact that he's essentially RB5 now off the board, something like that, that's a good sign too. You know, I think I'm still comfortable with him in, you know, early to mid second in Superflex drafts. So yeah.
Early to mid second, huh?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I mean, you know, as far as the knee's concerned, if you're taking a running back in the 3rd round, I mean, as devalued as a position is, as many running backs that are left in this class right now, I mean, in the 3rd round, I mean, that's telling me their doctors are comfortable with it. Like,
really good point. Really,
they're
good
fine
point.
with it.
Yeah,
So,
if they're taking him at this point, then they're okay with the medicals. Although, where did Jay Ajayi and Todd Gurley go?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's that. I mean, that was how many years into Gurley's career? I mean, who knows if there was
Gurley
many...
had bad knees coming out.
Well, yeah, I know, but who knows?
A-Chain to Miami, that's a good fit. As much as I don't like A-Chain, that's a good fit.
Yeah,
they got Wilson and Mostert to run. They got A-Chain to catch passes, be a little gadgety. I hate A-Chain, but that's about as good a spot as he could get.
Yeah.
So, why does it feel like Brian's talking about A-Chain like he owes him like $50 or something?
I fucking hate Devon A-Chain, and one of the reasons I hate him is because so many people love him.
So what I just said earlier was that he's a straight line player, track star, really, really great speed, gadgety kind of guy. But in a Shanahan offense, which is Miami, the way they play it, they really play the stretch one cut. He's perfect for that.
Good luck getting shares. I mean, that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Good luck getting shares.
Yeah. So what this does for me is push players that I really want down the board where I can get them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and I would say same for Hyatt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Hyatt's draft capital isn't great in the 3rd round.
But it's good enough where the people who are confident in him and as like the 111 or the 202 aren't going to be far off from that.
All right. Well, I just want to take a victory lap when he was getting mocked first.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, and there were guys, I'm not going to mention names, Dallas Hyder, that thought he was a 1st round talent.
No. Dallas hated Hyatt.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Who was it that we talked to? Oh, it was
Hicks. Hicks likes Hyatt. Hicks. It was like his wide receiver 3. Yeah.
It was Matt Hicks, right? Yeah. I mean, and I love Hicks. He's got a great process and he's got a great mind, but he missed.
Oh, I was ready to talk shit about Dallas, but not Hicks.
No, come on. I love Dallas. Dallas is the 3rd or 2nd most frequent guest on this show behind Brian.
For sure.
I love it.
I'd like to count. I'd like there to be a competition. I'd like to know how far in the lead I am.
No, you are the fluffer. You are.
How far?
The official fluffer.
I am the cousin Shemp of the Three Stooges on Dynasty War Games. But you know what's funny is it's a games podcast, and as much as I've been on, I've played games once and was terrible at them.
So here's the problem tonight: is we were supposed to have Dynasty Jeopardy, but a tornado ran through College Station or wherever Mike lives, and he's not on.
Yeah. You guys lost your Alex Trebek?
Yeah, no, he was going to be the Mayim Bialach.
Blossom? Is that Blossom? Is that Blossom?
Yeah, it is Blossom. Yeah, did you not know that she's a part-time host?
Do I look like a Jeopardy guy? Like when you think of people that like are connoisseurs of Jeopardy, do you think that's some bitch right there? You know, I'm sitting, but I'll slowly bring this back to football. You know, I got to admit, Traylon Burks is a big winner. They got Skoronski. He got Levis and a running back.
Yeah.
This is not bad for. I tell you who's like a sleeper. If like you're like, because some of our leagues are like this, but if you start 3 or 4 wide receivers,
I think I know who you're going to say.
And Nick Westbrook Ikena, who they just re-signed.
I was going to say Kyle Phillips as a safety blanket.
You know what? I like both because both are free.
Yep. Yeah.
Now the draft's not over, but I like both of those guys. I mean, those guys are free now.
Kyle Phillips is acquirable for a 4th, probably.
Oh, I thought you said boom, like the Ravens had done something. I was like, oh shit, something's good going to happen.
I love Kyle Phillips. He's really, really quick and gets open a lot underneath.
Yeah. He just, basically redshirted his rookie season because he was hurt.
Except that he came out and showed that he was a player before that.
Right. He
was a target hog right away.
Right. The thing is that the track record for wide receivers who miss that much time in their rookie year, this is a Jameson Williams tweet, is not very good as far as their production in their first 3 years.
Okay, Peter Howard.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what? Sample sizes are small for
that. Go watch the episode of Saturday Night 5 that I did with Seth Keller. He pulled a lot of the data. The sample size is bigger than you think.
But I mean, context is important with those things, though. You can't count.
He also separated it out for draft capital, and it wasn't.
But it's not about draft capital. It's about there's specific indications of why somebody is missing time. If a player is injured and then suspended, right? There's not that many cases in history of that happening.
Whoa, hold on a second. It's a Jameson Williams tweet, but I will say I'm almost as in love with JMO as you are, Chad. Almost.
So yeah, I'm just saying, like,
I do think
the
he
whole
can
Bryce
buck
Young
that
thing where
trend.
somebody's like, there's never been that many. I mean, there's not that many Bryce Youngs that have tried to come into the NFL, right? Yeah. Like, it just doesn't happen very often. And we're just now getting to the point where, the NFL is open to it. So, yeah, he might be an outlier, but it's not like we have the sample size of 100 quarterbacks of Bryce Young's talent and size, and none of them have worked out, So it's just things like that bother me a little bit when people try to make this whole scientific data point about, outliers.
Well, except that I think what's baked into that is to borrow a phrase from Peter Howard, you're getting latent signal from the fact that nobody wants a short guy to be quarterback starting in 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like, they're not making it to the NFL to be part of the sample size because we know pretty early on they're not going to be really effective at, navigating the, so I don't know, there's that too.
Well, we need some more. We got like 15 picks left.
This is going a lot quicker than last year. I remember like Jesse falling asleep and it being like midnight or something, right? Like,
yeah. Well, this
16.
is what we talked about. This is what we 16. Talked about earlier. This class is so deep and flat that everybody had their guy. In the second round, it was pick is in, pick is in, pick is in. How many times did I say it? Pick is in, pick is in. Nobody is waiting on the clock. They know who they want. Nobody. There really aren't very many trades either, through these rounds. They know who they want, and they're going after their guy because there are team and scheme specific players for every team available everywhere. The UDFA class is going to be really deep as well. Right. So, I mean, last year you got Zonovan Knight out of that. So there are definitely going to be deep running backs that are going to go tomorrow that you have to keep your eye on. I mean, at this point, do we really know that Tank is going to go tonight?
Sorry about that, guys. I thought my kid was choking on some animal crackers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Does he have teeth?
Yeah, he's 3. Okay. Yeah, they have teeth by then.
Okay. I have no idea. I have no idea when those animals get teeth.
If you remember, Jesse, towards the end of the episode we did with Lejeune, I was talking about what Memphis mentioned earlier, that fourth round capital is A, the norm, and B, not the death sentence that it used to be. So, and I think when you're looking at a strong supply of running backs, right? Even, and the fact, that everybody wants a committee, so that the demand may not be as sharp. Yeah, it totally fits what I expected. I expected a couple more in the third round, but yeah, I think that early tomorrow probably going to be quite the running back run.
Yeah, I really think that fourth round you're going to see a running back run, and at some point you're going to see a quarterback run as well, because there was a kind of a class of backup quarterbacks here that a lot of people kind of weren't talking about. You have JTR, right? And Clayton Tune, that some people DTR, my bad.
Right. Jaron Hall, Jake Hayner.
Right. Yeah. Jake Hayner, who couple people had as sort of a Skylar Thompson developmental type of, could be a starter someday, but also could develop into a really good backup. So you have a class of those guys that could go tomorrow. It's tough to really talk about that with dynasty relevance, but once in a while,
everybody needs a fourth quarterback in a super flex.
Exactly. Once in a while, you do see one of those guys start a game and win a game for you.
I want to prepare everybody so that everybody doesn't get freaked out. Well, they traded one. So the 49ers had 3 of the last 4 picks. They just traded one of those 3 to the Minnesota Vikings. But don't be surprised when they take a running back. Yeah. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if they take what's his nuts? Tank Bigsby. Yeah.
Who, the Vikings?
No, the Vikings would be a good spot. Oh, they traded all those picks. No, they didn't. So they have 36, which is 99 overall, and 101 overall. I'm telling you, the way that Shanahan offense eats running backs, and it's really just Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey. I could see a running back winding up there.
TDP. Tyrion Davis Price.
And who?
Jordan Mason.
Tank Bigsby just went to Jacksonville.
Oh man,
there's your thunder to ETN's lightning.
Jesse, didn't I tell you the draft wasn't over when it came to ETN?
Yes, sir. Yes, you did.
So that's not bad.
Wow.
That's not bad for Tank.
That's really good for Tank, actually. So that relegates ETN to more of a.
Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to relegate ETN to anything.
And I like Tank more than Memphis does, and I don't know that we're relegating. I don't know that ETN becomes a satellite back.
I mean, I'm not quite as bitter.
No, I didn't say satellite.
I'm not quite as Tank. I'm not as bitter at Tank Bisbee as Brian is at Devon A-Chain, but I'm not a fan.
Well, what it does is it tanks.
Is he better than James Robinson in this offense?
Oh yeah.
Dude, James Robinson had like an RB, like an RB 1.5 season.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot to step into. Now, the one thing Tank Bigsby has going for him is ETN, not the healthiest cat around. So he's like that guy who's like an injury away from he could be this class as Elijah Mitchell. Remember a couple of years ago where Elijah Mitchell all of a sudden, due to injury, became like the guy in San Francisco? I mean, Tank Bigsby is literally one ETN slips on a banana peel away from being super relevant. Because Snoop Connor ain't it.
Yeah, and Ernest Johnson
was Trey Sermon just lost the job to Elijah Mitchell. I mean, Trey Sermon just wasn't it, and Elijah Mitchell was better.
And Elijah Mitchell was a 6th rounder too.
Yeah, exactly.
From University of Louisiana Lafayette.
I think that Trey Sermon is just that, we'll call it football unintelligent, to be kind.
Doesn't have the high football IQ.
Yeah.
You know who else is winning this week? All the Patriots. All the Patriots are winning. If they're there, they're winning. Mike Gesicki is winning.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, he's going to get traded. Oh, we're going to get rid of Mac Jones. Shut up. They passed on Will Levis probably twice. Mac Jones probably cool, at least for another year. We're going to see, I don't want to say Devontae Parker's good. I really love the tight ends in New England. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a tight end, I like them both. I'm telling you, it feels like Bill O'Brien is going 2011 Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, like the Walmart version. Not like you go down the soda aisle, like Jesse made fun of me earlier for drinking a soda. It's like you go down the soda aisle at like Walmart and like you see Pepsi, you see Coke, and then you go just far enough down, you see like Dr. Thunder.
Dr.
Thunder. Now Gesicki and Hunter Henry could end up being the great value version of Gronk and Aaron Hernandez back in the day. Best I got.
What does your wife think of that Diet Mountain Dew of yours?
I mean, dude, my wife believes in things called sleep hygiene.
Yeah,
and I don't. I believe in Diet Mountain Dew at 9:30.
Yeah, there's nights for sleep hygiene, and then there's day 2 of the NFL draft, right? Like,
I mean,
everything in balance, everything, right?
Yeah, I'm like healthy-ish, healthy on the ish. I'm
healthy adjacent.
I'm healthy. That's also a very good word. It's a little caffeine. It's a little Mountain Dew. It's like, who cares?
Memphis, I work at a place I am the executive chef at a restaurant called Farmhouse Greens, and we pride ourselves on being healthy. And you see this sucker right here? There you go. I got a little extra. I do.
For those of you who are listening on the audio, he just, kind of did like a Jowls double chin thing. He did not pull out his dick just to,
Oh no, that would have been way too fat for the TV. But so what I'm saying is I have a salad for lunch every day. But when I come home for dinner, it's a different story.
It's a squirt and a flirt.
The wife likes the lusty flirt and the sausage.
Hey, question. I'll tell you who else is down bad. David Bell. David Bell having
was he ever up?
He's
done.
He
was a bit of a darling this time last year. We have to be honest. He was
gross.
He was someone that we all thought was. Oh, sorry, I just made a draft pick in Patron 17.
Nice.
Pat.
Jesus, finally.
I know he was tired of me.
Yeah, as Memphis is saying, in April 2022, his DLF rookie Superflex ADP was 18, so he was essentially 206. David Bell. A lot of people wasted mid and late seconds on David Bell last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of David Bell people, and people will hang on, but I'm always going to be a year early on cutting those guys. Is this his second year? So maybe you can leave him on the back end of a taxi squad. I am so glad I don't have a ton of picks this year.
He's cuttable as fuck. I mean, I'd rather have Isaiah McKenzie. There I said. You know what I mean? I'd rather have Isaiah Hodgins, who I cut off taxi squads a year and a half ago. And then,
by the way, I heard Joe Mixon was getting cut. I heard the Bengals were going to.
Did we not cover this earlier? I forgot to say this.
There's still time
in the second round.
And Dalvin Cook could go after the draft because he could be a post June 1st thing. So there's still time.
I mean,
yeah, but I'm looking at this running back board. It's like if I got Joe, I've always treated like Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook's another one. Maybe Roshan can go there. That's kind of everybody's fantasy, I guess, is to get Roshan but dude, Joe Mixon's going to be fine for this year. They're not cutting Joe Mixon. He's cuttable next year when all the big extensions kick in and you actually got to pay people. But this year, when they're going to hang on to running back depth, Joe Mixon's fine for 2023.
I mean, I'm not saying from a contract perspective, but I would not be surprised if they try to move on from an off the field perspective.
Oh, I 100%. And then same thing with Dallas. I thought they were bringing in a running back. Maybe here's a good road. I'll tell you where if you like Roshan Johnson, you're at about 4 picks when the Arizona Cardinals are up. There's your spot. If you have a running back left that you like, because that Bills backfield's a mess, right? They brought in Damian Harris, low-key winner. They've got Naheem Hines. They got Dalvin Cook's brother. Najee Harris having a good draft. But if you want Roshan to be a thing, and a thing as early as this season, your spot is coming up here at 94.
I am not a Roshan guy. I mean, he's in that tier of like, you tell me NFL, but he's at the bottom of that tier. There are some people who love Roshan, like love him, and I'm not one of them. So Mixon's dead cap this year is 5.5, and I think if they post June 1st release him, looks like the cap savings is $10 million. Like, it's not out of the question.
But Paul Brown is so cheap, he's not going to cut him for money he's already paid him. That's if you go back and look historically with what the Bengals do, they don't do that. And I remember when they were the fun-loving jailhouse Bengals with Adam Pac-Man Jones and Vontaze Burfict and so many other model citizens. So I don't think Joe Mixon this time next year he will not be a Bengal, but I think for 1 year, if you can, get him cheap, he's going to be the starter. Will he get someone added to the draft? Sure, he will, because Samaje Perine's gone. That or Chris Evans. But the Bills passed on him. They took an inside linebacker. We're on a bit of a defensive run.
So Mixon is good enough, in my opinion, to go to another team and still be relevant. He may not be the RB1 that you want Mixon to be, but think late stages LaDainian. Mixon is a step down from LaDainian, but still a superior talent that should hold.
Where do you think Joe Mixon finished the season last year? RB what? And I'll give you a clue. He missed 3 games last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like 14.
Try 10.
And
he finished as the RB10, and he missed 3 games.
Although, look at his 1 week spike. Look at
he did.
His game line.
He had the 50.
He had a 5-down game.
But he had 2 games where he gave you less than 10 PPR points.
Okay.
And one of the 2 was 9.2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Joe Mixon fan, and that's what I'm saying is that I think that even after he's done in Cincinnati after this year, he goes to another team and it is relevant for a year or 2. So your cap on Joe Mixon is probably 2. You might get a 3rd. I would say for contenders, ride his ass. Like if you're a heavy contender. I mean, 100%. In the middle, man, you got to wait till the season starts and trade his ass.
Oh, and we got to trade maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, the chefs made a trade with their rival, the Bengals. New rivalry.
Heavily debated on this podcast before you came on, Memphis, was Rashee Rice to the Kansas City Chiefs. Where does he stack up to you rookie draft?
I'm primarily a super flex guy, but I'm like in that early second range, 200 something to 206. He's right there. He's not killing it, but you got to respect the landing spot. I mean, they're all dart throws. I mean, so let me get this straight. I can throw a dart throw on some guys, or I can throw a dart throw on a guy attached to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So I might as well just take at least 2. Like if you were like doing like a checklist, and I can check good head coach, good quarterback. Okay, well, at least I'm starting there. Plus, friends of the War Zone and all of us in general, John Sheps from Toilets to Titles, and the old Podfather, Matt Kelly. They were both raving about this guy at the Senior Bowl in Rashee Rice. So
I love the tape. I think
you gotta respect the landing spot, the draft capital. There's a lot more. Again, you start filling out that what do you want in a wide receiver for your dynasty team, and to start ticking off boxes. He's got it.
He reminds me of what I wanted Laviska Shenault to be. Am I wrong
Good?
about that, Brian?
You want him to be good? That's kind of a broad. It's kind of a broad scope.
Well, no, like that kind of bruiser, catch the ball and then wreck people kind of guy. Am I wrong about that, Brian?
I have to pull up Chenault's size, see if he's as big as Mingo. I think Chenault's more of like a, how can I put it? Like I don't want to say Swiss Army knife, but like.
Well, we're talking about Reishi Rice.
Yeah, Reishi
Rice. I'm sorry. I got him confused with Mingo.
He's a very average athlete. I mean, not compared to us, obviously, but he is.
I think he has the power of a man 20 pounds heavier.
He's a super physical receiver.
Yeah, he looks
good more physical on tape.
He's got strong. He's got strength. He's got the my ball mentality. 9.65 RAS isn't bad. As I said before, I love the guy, right? Like
he's a good jumper. He's got big burst. He's like 95th percentile, which is for burst on player profiler. It's a combination of the vertical jump and the broad jump.
Yeah, and
he can go up and get the point.
1.49 10-yard split is very good too for someone who ran a 4.51. I mean, I love the guy. I just don't love the landing spot as much as people do because I can check off Mahomes and I can check off Andy Reid, but then I can check off 25 other guys on the team that aren't Travis Kelce that he now is in a tier with, you know, and I just think he to take him from the mid to late third where he's going now or early to mid third where he's going now in mocks, and then place him all the way into like the early second. It's quite the jump, but you know, again, if all these running backs fall even further than we think, then I might be singing a different tune. You know,
I mean, fourth round is basically the high third round for running backs at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they have fallen. I mean, the running backs have fallen. That's the thing. The wide receivers have fallen as well. So
the wide receiver. I'm looking at the wide receivers best on the board. They got Tyler Scott, Charlie Jones, A.T. Perry, Antoine Green, Michael Wilson, Xavier Hutchinson, Parker Washington, Elijah Higgins, Trey Palmer, Kayshon Boutte. I mean, there's some guys that I like on there. Obviously, I liked Kayshon Boutte like at the guys that Memphis loved are having a hell of a bad week. But I mean, these are like we're in dart throw territory.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of starters left in this draft. I mean, maybe Roshan, maybe a couple of the running backs, but I mean, it's getting rough.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby going to Jacksonville
that was a great spot.
Yeah, it's a real hit for his value, though. I mean, you can't see him as a high second rounder at this point with ATN.
I mean, like a
the
couple
way
of guys.
The way things are shaping up now, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's not that.
I think it's a huge hit to his value. If you ever thought that Tank Bigsby would be a 1A or a lead back, it's not going to happen.
I kind of want the Pittsburgh Steelers to low key take Michael Wilson here and just like create chaos.
Yeah. We've already had too much chaos, I think.
You want to destroy my pick and shit.
I'm an agent of chaos. I don't have that drop.
I don't know that my heart can take any more of this chaos.
I think.
You need it. Hey, hold on.
And in my club, I will splash the pot whenever the fuck I please.
So I'll call for chaos whenever the fuck I please.
You know, I have to tell you, Memphis, I know you love that movie, but that was the best movie with the worst accent of all time.
No kidding.
But how?
I don't know. Scarface has a beat. Scarface has a beat.
Yeah. Al Pacino's. There's some bad accents out there, but just the character. It's like, you know, it's Teddy KGB.
Right. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You know,
it's great.
I remember we used to play like card games. Like we would bartend and shoot pool, and we would go play poker for like literally days. Like literally, I would work. I would go play poker, like not sleep, not do drugs, but not sleep, and then just repeat that cycle for 2 or 3 days in a row.
Woof.
And like the whole time in the background, it was like nonstop rounders.
So I used to, back in the day, I owned a bar in Myrtle Beach, and all of my friends and patrons were very into poker, and I decided, well, we don't have to close, right? Myrtle Beach laws, you don't have to close, so you can close though. So at 4 a.m. we would close for a poker tournament 3 times a week, and I realized that my rake from that was so much better than ever learning poker that I never did. So I went from, playing a dealer call with all my friends, and Texas Hold'em would come up, every 5 rounds or whatever. It was a game, but then it became the thing that every poker player played. And I decided that instead of learning to win at poker, I'll just take the rake.
Yeah, I was more, if you like a good solid rake, teach your clientele to play Pot Limit Omaha, because I mean
that one.
It's a Hold'em variation. You get 4 cards as opposed to your traditional 2. The Steelers took Darnell Washington.
Oh shit.
Dude, it doesn't hurt Freiermuth, and dude, Najee Spears. I'm sorry, I just made Tajay and Najee 2 people. I just combined them into one.
Yeah, that's an amazing fit right there.
Dude, you kidding me? That old school Heath Miller role?
Yes, sir. He is going to monster people. The Steelers and the Eagles were the 2 fits that were perfect for him, and man, is not going to benefit from that shit. Yeah, not Memphis. Thank you for calling that out right away. That is,
I think it's great. So can I give the listeners of the War Games a sneak peek? So the good people over at Player Profiler, they do their annual draft kit with like little video snippets in there, right? I've got the privilege of doing one for them this year, and the player that I have chosen is Najee Harris. So they leapfrogged the Jets. Man, they did the Jets dirty. Is there any Jets fans in here?
No, they're not allowed.
Okay, good.
The goddamn Jets.
And they did the Jets dirty by leapfrogging them and taking the Broderick kid, the tackle, out of I think it was Georgia, and then now they come in here and add Darnell Washington. Dude, I'm telling you, there are some veterans in Dynasty just having a hell of a day too.
Yeah,
as a Darnell truther. For fantasy purposes, though, I don't like this. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But
he's a better Mo Alley Cox. Michael Wilson to the Cardinals. 3rd round draft capital, baby.
Yeah. You gotta respect that, right?
Good spot.
I mean,
it's a good spot. I like that spot a lot.
In what they say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the land of the Smurfs, the 6'3" guy is king.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And especially if they move
ship off Hopkins. Maybe that's what they're preparing for here with this move.
Well, I don't think veterans are. So can I ask you guys a question? I'll throw it to Brian first, and then you throw it to one of your cohorts. But I know we all love like certain guys. We fall in love with these rookies from years past.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the Lions to trade DeAndre Swift because we like him, right? Clearly, if NFL GMs liked him, don't you think someone would have given a day 3? Like, I'll use the Jags as an example. If they valued DeAndre Swift the way we do, wouldn't they have traded that pick for DeAndre Swift? I think the Lions would have taken a 3rd. Pretty sure they would have. Are we overdrafting the veteran trade market, especially at the wide receiver, at the running back position?
Well, I think the conclusion that you're coming to personally, yeah. So there was a lot of talk earlier today that a lot of teams were calling the Lions about Swift, right? But he's entering a contract year, right? So if I'm an NFL team, do I spend a whatever it would take to get him, which I don't think would be. I think you'd probably get him for like a fourth or a fifth. The way trades, I mean, you got Jeff Okudah for a fifth, right? So, you probably get him for a fourth. Do I do that, or do I figure out a way to, maybe spend that third or fourth on something I need more, and then take a running back anyway, in the fourth or fifth, like that's kind of the calculus they're making. Yeah.
Or maybe you wait until the draft is over and give a 24 fourth round pick because you really want to get all these rookies in this year. And maybe you can do it after the draft. That's the only thing I can see, because he makes like $1.7 million, but it's not a ton of money. You figure if someone wanted him bad enough, they'd just do it. So the Bengals are on the clock, and I think the Bengals, Lions, Commanders, Browns. I would love Roschon Johnson to go to the Browns. I really would. I also wouldn't mind him on the Raiders, to be quite honest, or the Vikings. I just don't know what the Bengals. What have the Bengals done to date? They took a defensive guy in the first round.
I'm trying to pull them up here.
Yeah,
Same.
my memory's too poor for that.
Well, clearly wanting a what we would consider a dynasty cornerback, DJ Turner.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't know the good name of DJ Turner? Shameful. So yeah, they're on the clock. I just can't believe how much I like the Michael Wilson pick to Arizona, being not the biggest Kyler guy.
I like that a lot. It's interesting because, I think they're trying to rework their. I mean, it makes sense that they're trying to rework that offense, and preparing for the departure of Hopkins, because that team is so bad. You'd like to think that, they understand Hopkins is not for them, and maybe they try to get rid of him as soon as possible. I mean, I think that makes all the sense in the world.
I think it's the money, to be honest with you, more than anything else. It's like, I think he saw the Odell Beckham Jr. payday, and he's like, well, I understand that I'm not worth what I was, but I'm worth more than that fucking guy.
Yeah. Yep. And unfortunately for him, I mean, I'm sure Odell even knows he's not worth that. I think he was only worth that because they wanted Lamar to come back and sign, So I don't think that situation.
The Odell Beckham Jr. signing was what'd you guys make of the Ravens? I haven't seen them do much. They just took an inside linebacker. Stop me if you're surprised.
Who did they take? They took a couple of offensive
players.
They
took Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, that's right. And didn't they take an offensive lineman or?
I am checking now. I hate when I have to click during the podcast. It looks like in the second they didn't have a second round. That's right, they didn't have a second round pick because of the Roquan trade.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I really like the Zay move. I don't like it that much for Zay, but I like it a lot for the Ravens and for Lamar Jackson.
And Joe Mixon avoided competition again. The Bengals took safety Jordan Battle from Alabama.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Man, good for Mixon. But yeah,
I'll be honest, as a Mixon truther, I thought that was like the last spot he had to fade, because a fourth round running back still doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that's not going to worry him, or it's not going to worry me. So, I think I've traded away all my Mixon shares except for one. Just hoping that he wasn't going to see much competition, and that's a competing team. So happy about that. But I mean, I like what the Ravens are doing with that offense, and I like it a lot for Lamar. I mean, Lamar was a guy I've been trading away this offseason because his capital hasn't really dropped much. I mean, it's been pretty high, at least in the leagues that I've been shopping him. Everybody's been paying pretty premium value for him up there at QB 5-6 range.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, I mean, it's been nice. I've been able to sell him where I can, but I have him in a couple spots, and I'm excited the most for him. And I think that's a lot of. I mean, this draft, it feels like it's been really good for a number of quarterbacks more than anything.
Yeah, I think. I mean, here's the crazy thing, and I think this is, every class is independent of each other, but this is a year where the veterans are winning, right? The veteran, the incumbents, those guys are winning. and it's not normally the case. But you know, I feel like I don't know who have the Commanders taken. I know they took have they taken anybody of note, or is Antonio Gibson winning?
I don't think they've taken anybody of note. I think I would have remembered that being a Giants fan.
I think they went offensive line in round 1.
Yeah.
No, they went cornerback in round 1. Emmanuel Forbes, the guy who's
the toothpick.
Yeah, and then they went cornerback again in round 2 with last name Martin.
That's right. I remember thinking that was like a direct, I guess to combat what the Eagles are doing with their wide receivers.
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense to me.
So what's going on with the Commanders? I can pretty much sum it up pretty quickly. They're tanking their roster. Their coach is on the way out. He's basically on the verge of retirement, I guess, because he's not going to take a DC job once he gets retired. Once he gets fired. And they're going to sell the team, right? Once they sell the team, it's going to be new blood, new roster, yada, yada, yada. Right now, they're just sort of holding on. Like, I think Ron Rivera is just sort of like tripling, quadrupling down on his old school ways and saying, I don't really need any of your new NFL weapons, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to go with Sam Howell and defense and run the ball with Brian Robinson, the plotter. And they're not going to use Gibby because they don't like him, right? But they're not going to cut him either because he's stubborn and they drafted him. So really what you have to do with the Commanders is just go, hold them until they're sold, right? TMC and Dotson are definite buys right now because, what juice do they have? And you hold them through this season and they get huge lift next year, hopefully. At their price, the way they're going to drop this offseason, the way they're going to drop in season from lack of production, the Commanders are just like they're the Houston Texans right now, right? And we just gotta have to wait for the uptick.
Well, I'm ready for these last 6 picks.
Yeah, but buy and hold, buy low and hold Commanders players. TMC and Dotson are both near elite NFL talents that are just being wasted. And at some point, that's going to become real apparent, and contenders are going to get sick of having them on their rosters, and just feast on it. Pick them up, hold them until next year, and cross your fingers. It's the old buy and wait for the bump.
I see some optimism for Najee Harris out there. Does he go back up the dynasty ranks a little bit? Not as high as he was, but I know like Fantasy Pros, which free rankings are exactly what you pay for him. They had him like in the late teens.
Yeah, there was at one point I saw a trade earlier this offseason where somebody traded 2 random seconds for him.
Wow.
Yep. So that he got really low at one point, and not saying that was happening all across the world, but yeah, I think people were really down on him at one point, and he's got nowhere to go but up. And with everything they've done this offseason or this draft so far, I'm pretty excited about it.
Ricky Stromberg of Arkansas, center, for the Commandos. Yeah. Now, Jesse, you're not too far from the Commandos area.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about the new ownership there? Do you think they didn't draft a quarterback because they could be waiting for the new ownership, or do you think they're really excited about rolling Howe?
No, I think that they're going to extract every single dollar they can out of this franchise, and paying a high price quarterback does not really jive with it.
Well, I meant like they passed on Levis, and it feels odd if you're Ron Rivera to hitch your wagon to him. He's got to win this year, but maybe Ron Rivera doesn't give a shit because he knows he's going to get fired either way.
Exactly. I think he's just playing out the string. He beat cancer. He's living his second life. You know, just
I'm-
YOLO.
I mean, you think about it this way too. If Rivera doesn't have any ambition anymore, and he knows he's on his way out, I mean, he's been with the kid since he's been drafted, so he's probably like, give the kid a shot. Let him. I'm the only one that's going to give this kid a shot before I'm gone.
Right. I mean, you saw how connected he was to Heineke. I mean, he's just such an old school guy that it's my guys and run the ball and play.
And it's not impossible that Hal's good. I mean, you don't know. Right?
Yeah, and that's true. The metrics on Hal, Brian, if I'm wrong, were really good last year at the end of the year. Am I right?
I think I have to look that up, but I do think toward the end of the year. Oh wait, he only made like those 2 starts, right?
Yeah,
I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay, no, forget it. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I thought that was something we had talked about.
And I mean, but
Maybe,
guys
I
like
don't know.
Daniel Jones, when Hal went in the 4th, I mean, he died on the horse that, that was criminally underrating Hal as far as draft capital went. Like, he should have gone well before that. So, I mean, there's something there that some guys, really liked, coming out as a prospect. So
you never really figured out why he went that late. The Commanders did the same thing with Cousins, right? Didn't they find him in the 5th?
Yeah, I think it was the 5th.
4th. I think it was the 4th. Yeah.
I mean, that was the RG3 year. And I went down, on this horse. I just thought it was one of the smartest things I've ever seen a franchise do.
The Niners took a place kicker.
RG3 with
they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They with 90. They took a kicker, 99 overall, Jake Moody.
Yeah,
they're like, all these guys suck. We're just gonna go with the kicker.
Yikes! Wow.
Man, that was a Bucks move. Well, no, I think the Bucks did it in like the 3rd or something.
It's like they're just like, they're like the super rich guy just throwing away money because he can.
Yeah. Yep.
He's like, we have an embarrassment of riches.
Paying somebody else's bill on the way out.
Well, let me ask you this: where does Trey Lance go now?
Oh, I don't know.
The Niners.
I mean, maybe.
what if he goes to Washington?
Are they going to dress 3? Are they going to dress 3 QBs every week?
Well, Sam Darnold's a scrub, and Brock Purdy. I guess he.
You kind of answered your own question.
Be ready till week 3 at best, and when I say ready, I mean ready to practice.
And what did the head coach say that Trey Lance could do? He could compete with said scrub.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they brought in Sam Darnold for a reason.
You can't hand a rookie that's never done anything, any job. You as a head coach,
you
have to tell him that his job is on the line.
Can Bryce Young be expected to be handed the job?
That's not a real competition.
But the real competition would have been with Brock Purdy. I mean, that's enough competition for Trey Lance. Bringing in Sam Darnold is not saying, okay, we need competition for Trey Lance.
Who they tried to get from the Jets 2 years ago. They tried to trade for him 2 years ago when he went to Carolina because Carolina traded for him.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Shanahan is actually you can't predict. So
yeah.
I mean, to Shanahan, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback on the planet.
And I believe he wanted Mac Jones. I believe
that's who they should have picked.
Is Adam Schefter in the business of being wrong often? How many times have you looked at an Adam Schefter tweet and shrugged your shoulders and was like, that couldn't be true?
He was wrong about the Texans' number 2 overall pick. He was the one. He was the one saying they didn't want Stroud. So let me ask you guys this, and this has kind of been bugging me in the back of my head. Anybody that has any thoughts on this? Is it a good look to dog in the media the number 2 overall quarterback that you just selected, and basically for 2 weeks to a month, tell everybody that you don't want him and then pick him? I mean, does that make him feel?
I don't think they ever said they didn't want him.
Your franchise? I mean, wouldn't you want to wine and dine him and bring him in and make him feel like part of your organization, or would you just want to say we don't want him and then pick him?
Well,
Is that weird, or am I wrong?
Did they actually ever come out and say they didn't want him?
They leaked it to the media.
Well, you assume it was them, and that it wasn't another agent hoping that it was going to get past them.
I think Schefter saying it.
If I could describe what Houston did, it was they played it very close to the vest to leave it to everybody else to guess.
I think Houston wanted Bryce Young, and that what they didn't want is they didn't want to come out and say, "Yep, we want Bryce Young. We're going to go get Bryce Young," and then wind up with a consolation prize and have to go, "Well, we really had him high on the board." If you play both sides against the middle, you can say this was our guy all along. By saying nothing, you can say what you want when the time becomes appropriate.
I think you just proved my point. I think they wanted Bryce Young, and then when they didn't get him, they didn't really want to tell their second choice. It's like if
they couldn't say it until draft
girl
time.
in school to the prom, and she says no right in front of the second hottest girl in the prom. Do you turn right around and go, "Hey, do you want to go too?"
But that's why you wait. You wait until you figure out the other girl has a date or not.
I mean,
they had to wait until they saw what, because then no matter who they took, they could say it was always their guy.
I think that's pretty small dick energy.
Well, I mean, but you know what? If they ruffle CJ Stroud's feathers, then his dick crawls up inside him, and he becomes.
I think they already did that.
He becomes Carson Wentz, and he's scared of his own shadow.
Yeah. Chad, do you think that's small dick energy?
I don't know, man. I think they just wanted Bryce Young the whole time, and they were just like, "Screw it, this is the next best guy."
You straight up.
They tried to trade. They tried to trade for the first pick.
You straight up saying to the class whore, like, "Hey, I couldn't get the hot girl, but I'm gonna bang you on prom night."
But that's reality of the NFL, though. I mean, it's all about competition, right? Like, if you don't
in the media, it's pretty rough, man.
I don't think they put it in the media as much as you think. Everything that I heard was that like you could they were like that the Texans building was tight-lipped, and the best that people could get was that there was a few Strouders and a few Will Levisers, and that's the rumor we heard, right? And
Trey Tucker, wide receiver, Cincinnati.
Who?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, no, he's a deep sort of sleeper guy. I did not expect him to go in the third round.
Raiders gonna Raider.
He's a slot guy too, which they kind of have already with Renfro, unless this is like Renfro's replacement when his contract is out, which I don't know the length of the contract. So Trey Tucker, Cincinnati, under 5'9", 187, ran a 4.41 with a 1.48 split. 8.35 RAS. Twitchy slot guy, quick feet. Does have experience as a kick returner. I kind of had him on my sleepers list, but this is way higher than I thought he'd be drafted.
Wow,
Your player profiler comp is McCole Hardman.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's a good comp. That's a really good comp.
I'm watching him, and he is electric, but I don't know.
Yeah, so is McCole Hardman.
Yeah, I don't know who he's playing against. He looks more side to side agility.
I'm shocked he went ahead of Tyler Scott.
All right, well, Niners are up. This could be your guy.
Cameron Latou, Alabama tight end.
Oh, nice.
Dude, San Francisco is out here giving
Also
giving zero fucks right now.
Definitely higher than I thought he'd go.
Yeah, same. He was my last tight end, but he was ranked for me. I do like the athleticism. I do like the potential. He is super fucking raw. And he did not do much on tape, but I mean, he looks like a guy, right? But out of 10 reps, he looks like a guy in 10 reps. Like he really didn't get much run. I don't know a lot about him except that
he's a good blocker too. So that may free up Kittle a little bit. He was, as of a couple of days ago, was projected as a 6th rounder on NFL mock draft database. And he ended as my tight end 14. Like, I'm super surprised he went.
Absolutely. He was the specifically the last guy on my tight end list.
He's more of like a good all around NFL player than he's.
Yeah, I watched him and I was like, oh, this guy, in a few years, he's the kind of guy like, oh yeah, I remember when he was drafted Latu, right? Oh yeah, he's showing up. But when I say showing up as like a tight end too,
and this is the last one of the night, right? Minnesota.
Roberts.
Yes, sir. We're gonna shut her down. I mean, I'm gonna shut her down.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the draft last year. So these were the running backs taken in the 4th round. So there's a couple that are going to give you hope, and then it's not good from there. So Dameon Pierce went 402.
Nice.
Had himself a day. Zamir White, I think some of us are still holding out hope.
Ouch.
Isaiah Spiller, Pierre Strong, Hassan Haskins, Tyler Algier had himself a season. Snoop Connor, Jerome Ford, low-key winner, by the way. Kyron Williams, Ty Chandler, Kevin Harris, Tyler Badee, Keontae Ingram, Treston Ebner, Britton Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, winner. So yes, there can be some landing spots, but kind of like the Highlander, there can only be one.
Yeah,
maybe
2 guys in there.
Here's the difference, though.
15.
Here's the difference, though, right? Like guys like Izzy, Zach Evans, Roshan, even, right? I would say even Chase Brown or Evan Hull, Dwayne McBride. All those guys are probably better prospects coming out than almost every single guy you mentioned, and that's the difference, because this is a deep 2023 running back class. I'm not saying those guys are going to be world beaters in fantasy, but I'm saying this crop of running backs is better than that crop of running backs. So if Dwayne McBride ends up in the late 4th, that's very different from whatever.
Well, the one thing that does concern me though is that you're telling me if you're letting these guys drop to the 4th, no team is in love with them.
Sure.
Yeah, and they don't have like a dedicated, I'm going to get you. Now, again, you could wind up getting the injury guy of this group. Now you're hoping for the guy who's an injury away.
Yeah, contingent upside. The thing about running back is it's an elevator, right? Next guy up, right? Wide receiver is an escalator. Like you get on the field, but you still got to earn targets and be in the mix with other guys. With running back, it's pretty much for a lot of guys, the one guy's out, the next guy's in and gets all those touches. So injury away guys are real key. I mean, that's what you're swinging for in the 3rd and 4th round of these rookie drafts, is like injury away guys, RB0 guys. I would hope value tight ends, but that kind of went out the window tonight, right?
I've got to go get rid of this Mountain Dew Jesse was making fun of me for. So how much longer are you guys going to be recording? And I'll try to get this a podcast for tomorrow morning.
Actually, this is it. So Memphis, we have a 1st and 2nd podcast.
Oh, I've already got the first one downloaded and ready to go.
Nice.
So I'm going to splice these 2 together. It's going to be a 5-hour banger. But I got to get started if I'm going to get her done.
Gentlemen, I'd like to ask you all a quick question here. Would you hold on? I need to prepare my brain for this question real quick. And that means my computer needs to. Okay. So would you say that we rode this long and hard and we blew our loads all over this draft?
Well, gotta go.
Great seeing you guys. Yeah, you guys have a great night. Be careful. Tip your waitress. Try the deal.
Memphis, you can go ahead and cut this portion out.
Oh, where is that?
There is no editing. There is no editing. Oh, the Kings force a game 7 if you're into hoops.